picturing you naked. I'm a little faded. You look like a fucking painting. Big doe eyes, amazing. She's everything I've been praying.
Welcome back to another banger set on Babylon Smite League. I'm Chair 1, Airborne, aka Masuka, joined by Unstrick, aka Sergeant Dokes, as we cast this banger set of Enkidu Food Fighters led by Juan Tieflis versus Gunshow, Juan Tieflis' own org. And now we're just waiting. Oh, go ahead.
Don't forget the GOAT, La Pasión, Asinus at work himself on production tonight.
Don't know how I could have forgotten him with this photo right there at the bottom, completing the trifecta as we wait to load into this lobby. But, I mean, lucky the cast, production, and both teams available so we could get another banger out on a Monday. Shout out to all the teams rescheduling. The more reschedules we get, we can cast. So looking forward to a few more, and obviously another really good set this weekend as well.
Yeah, I'm excited. These reschedules are making it a lot easier. And not only is it a reschedule, but like you said, it's Juan Tieflis versus his own org. Like, this is fabulous.
I mean, any way you look at it, Juan Tieflis comes out on top. He's either the captain that beat the team that he is the org owner for, or he's the org owner of the team that beat him. So, I mean, either way, he's a loser and a winner at the same time. Not to mention the amount of passion it takes to log in on a Monday for a competitive Smite set when you had your kid 4 days ago. It's oozing through the seams.
Yeah, hey, maybe he's going out of his way to make sure he plays against his other 5 children over at Gunshow, Daddy of the org gotta show up so his children can get some games in, Nah, I'm just kidding. But it's gonna be a fun set. I'm excited to see what these teams bring to the table tonight.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, even besides the extra drama between Juan just having his kid and obviously being the org owner of the team that he's captaining for, or excuse me, against the team that he's captaining for, like, there's a lot of really good names in this set as well that I think are just going to have really, really good fights. Is there anyone in particular that you're looking at in this set that makes you feel like it's just going to be a banger lane?
Oh yeah, these solo laners, man. Rory and Fuego Maego, I'm expecting to see some boxing. It might not go in a one person's favor every time, but these guys are not scared to get in there and play solo how it's meant to be played.
They're not scared to play solo the way that it's meant to be played. And as we say that, finally getting into the P's and B's, everyone has all their drinks, took all the potty breaks, and we're getting ready for our first band to come in here. But I think, like you said, solo is going to be a really good matchup between Fuego and between Rory. I'm also really looking at this duo lane. I think it's going to be a blast. But this first band, Merlin. So Food Fighters going the direction of, I'm just going to ban the picks they're playing instead of this meta stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised to see a Merlin ban over like a Neath ban because we saw IO Sky play it last week. He put in work on the Neath, and the God's just generally more annoying with the ultimate across the map. And here we go with a Tsukuyomi ban. This God is busted. He can play 3 different roles and be a top 3 God in all 3 of those roles.
I mean, like you said, top 3 in all the roles too, and I think also, like you said, just busted. His damage output and with the way that he interacts with the items right now, so hard to fight into. And then one of the picks that does somewhat decently well into him, Chalk getting banned by the Food Fighters as well. So way more meta on that one than the Merlin, but still a good ban either way.
Yeah, I think Merlin's really good, but I don't know how much success it'll have here in this set because I don't really know if these teams play the Merlin very much. But Chalk, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Big AoE ult that silences you and does 1,000,000 damage. Yeah, get that god out. And then the unkillable solo laner himself, Wukong, who can also tear it up in mid lane, going either a full int build or the Devo's Lash build in solo. That god, I'm glad to see that god gone also.
Yeah, like you said, king of safety too. So now we just went from a solo lane that potentially has 2 kills to one that could have 6, and then Odin and Ares being quick banned by both teams as we wait for Food Fighter's first overall pick. So a lot of CC gone between those picks. The wall's gone. CC gone with Shock. I mean, I think this one's shaping up to be like a 50 kill game, and then Neath being the first overall, like you talked about for that Food Fighters team.
Yeah, that god, I wouldn't say she's the best mid laner in the game, but I would say she's the hardest mid laner to mess up playing, and that god is very annoying for these side lanes. But they did let Aladdin and Hu Yi through, which are two top gods in their respective roles. I'm excited for these picks and bans so far.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Outside of that one Merlin ban, everything not necessarily cookie cutter, but to be expected. Like you said, Neath has an insanely high play ban rate right now. Same with the Aladdin, same with the Ho Yi. So we know with Enkidu sets though that there's going to be one pick that is just going to be completely out there, and it's going 19-0 or 0-19. So I'm kind of nervous to see which team picks it, but I'm also really excited to see which one it is. And then talking about a high kill solo lane, Mordred being hovered right now. It's not locked yet, but that would kind of fit the bill as it is locked in with the Ganesh.
I really like this Mordred pick just for the fact that that is probably Rory Mercury's most comfortable god in solo, and they just took it from him. So I'm hoping Rory will look to pivot into a Bellona or a Nemesis or even a Cabrakan if he's feeling like it. And Ganesh, everybody knows junglers hate playing against Ganesh. That's just what it is. That pick right there is just to make the Aladdin's life miserable.
Yeah, not looking forward to being that guy, though a Kepri being hovered by the enemy side might help him out, knowing that he can get the resurrection and the lamp in any given fight is a huge buff for Aladdin. Then a Bacchus as well for some of that aggression. I'm assuming that's probably Bacchus solo, right?
Oh, I hope you're right, because this pick is a pick I love. Aspect Bacchus. If this Mordred isn't careful, he will just get killed second wave as soon as this Bacchus hits level 2. That pick is insane for lane pressure as long as it's played right. And then Loki. Loki is one of those gods where he's looking to scale, but if he plays aggressive on this Aladdin early game, he can actually open the door for his team really heavily.
And you got to think with a Neath in mid too, really helping him on those side lane ganks. Like you said, Bacchus has a lot of pressure and damage at that level 2, level 3 area. Mordred does as well, but a Neath ult at level 6 or 7 can change things to help out, especially on a Loki gank. And then a Cupid as well. So Food Fighters has an insane team fight and pick draft all in one, just off the Ganesh and Cupid alone for team fights, I feel like.
Yeah, this Cupid pick is the best hunter they could have gone there for sure. He's the best hunter to play into Xbalanque, and there's so much movement on this Gunshow team with the Aladdin and the Bacchus that this Cupid's about to get so much value, and with the Neath ult and Loki's execute, like assassinate, not execute, but yeah, they have a lot of beads burn. It's gonna be really hard for these side lanes to not be getting picked early.
Yeah, and we
And we
talked
see an
about it.
Agni.
Oh,
Ooh, I think this god personally is the best mid laner in the game. I love seeing Agni get played. The god cannot be played very poorly because he has so many abilities, and with the range and the safety of being able to use them all over walls, this god is going. I'm excited. I'm excited. I still think I like the Food Fighters draft more though.
yeah, and as chat just pointed out, Kivo just pointed it out. We have a 4 Fizz comp on the side of Food Fighters and a 4 Magical comp on the side of Gunshow. And the one pick that ended up being the wild card, like I talked about, ended up being this Bacchus solo, one of the 4 magical dealers over on this Gunshow team. And you said you like the Food Fighters more, but I think there's an easy way for Gunshow to get in here if they can get the Aladdin off to a really good start, but it's going to be tough. And as I say that, we load in to game 1 here. So they ended up swapping Izakor and Kalo, the support and carry. So Kalo going to be carry, Izakor going to be the support, which isn't their normal roles anyway. I was kind of surprised that they gave us the roster where that was switched, but they did go back to their normal role. So I think this duo lane gets even more poke and fight heavy here.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see that Fuego has opted to run Aspect Mordred in solo lane. That's a little mind-boggling, but he will be spamming ults very much. He will be spamming ults very much. That pick is high aggression, but late game it tends to fall off unless he's just 3-4 levels ahead. Then he should have a lot of success with that pick. And then we see Ganesh warding high up. Yeah, we have Curios now. Free wards, so I'm expecting to see at least 15 wards out of every player in this game. All of them.
So the one thing that surprised me outside of this Bacchus pick, which I think just like you said makes that solo lane a fight fest, and I'm looking forward to it. X-Ball getting through for one of the first times that I've seen, not banned or picked by either side. Is that something that you're surprised about as well?
Yeah, he's actually comp banned right now.
All right,
yeah.
Never mind. No longer surprised. All right.
yeah, he's actually comp banned right now, but I think that god is better with Aspect, but we won't be seeing him for quite a little bit, I think. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna just comment over the slow level 1 lane clear of an Agni and a Neath. Both those gods going to do super high damage for now, but their lane clear is abysmal in the meantime.
Yeah, Neath lane clear is some of the worst clear for mid laners, and it kind of feels rough because Agni is going to be a god with a lot of pressure, and Neath is like until Neath gets level 3 to where she can just combo people. As this Kepri is getting
is Izakor actually gonna die here? Oh my god, I didn't take over because I assumed that he was just going to dash away. I guess he didn't have it though. A very quick first blood off of a Juan knockup and a Cupid heart bomb, and then Fuego gets soloed off screen, and Bacchus is full health. So not sure how that fight was going, but very one-sided to start off this game.
Yeah, that is crazy to me. I guess Kepri just didn't play the level 2 very well.
And if Death isn't careful here, he also could be in trouble. The damage from Poppin and Neath over the wall going to take about half of his health bar. Neutral buff ending up going the side of Food Fighters here, and now they're competing, or excuse me, of the side of Gunshow, and now they're competing for Ori's, but Agni deciding not to rotate, so very easy little farm fight for Food Fighters when no one shows up.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see them going back to farming. Yeah, you really have to be careful in this lane and duo with level 2 because this Cupid and Ganesh actually have a lot of CC even if they don't have the damage. And there's a Sunder going out, and Wantifloss actually stole the neutral camp from Gunshow, so that's actually a really good play as the Mordred is really feeling that Bacchus pressure.
Yeah, this Mordred is getting annihilated. Sunder leap and a burp and another death for Fuego, going down 0-2 quick in that 2.5 minute mark. And then Agni, oh, never mind. Neath super hard flicked on the root, so going to be perfectly fine and absolutely no reason to be excited. And Juan getting poked out now in duo lane. Sunder going down. Cupid throwing a heart bomb. Not going to get the stun off of it, though, so Izakor ends up backing up. Both supports kind of low. Neither resetting, though, as they walk back up.
Yeah, that's... Ooh, as we see the Crow go on. They're still looking to get aggressive here.
And a leap in from Ho Yi, but not going to mean anything. The Crow ends up going onto the Cupid, so not going to get any stun or anything from Juan there. Just going to back up, and now both supports already almost full health after all the pops were popped. Jeez, English is hard.
Yeah, that is. This Food Fighters team is getting pressure everywhere right now except for solo, and they need to find an answer for this Bacchus. Because if this Loki cannot get a rotation over to shut this Bacchus down, this Bacchus will run the game. He's going the Devos, and then I'm assuming he's going to go Lash Mystical or Lash Umbral, and this guy will be a raid boss. And that is the last thing you want.
3.5 minute first item. I mean, talk about a snowball. It is going ridiculous over there. Already a level lead for the Bacchus as well. Fuego not even able to walk up to these waves without being harassed.
Yeah, this is exactly what I expected to see out of this Bacchus pick. They pick Mordred with lane pressure, but people sleep on the fact that Bacchus with the cleave autos and that god just does so much damage. It's if you don't anticipate it, you will die, and that's what we saw. As we see Loki hovering on solo lane.
It looks like he's going to be going in here. Mordred ulting the Bacchus. Loki also ulting. Bacchus getting low, and the kill ends up going to Fuego. So going to get the revenge and get the back off without dying, hopefully. Yep, no one rotating over, getting his back off safely. And now Juan also getting poked out as the entire duo lane clicks for besides Isakor on this Khepri. So both sides, no one dies, but once again, support's going down to super low health and then walking back up anyway because there's supports.
Yeah, I believe the Neith actually sent her ultimate onto the Bacchus also, which this is the value from that pick. This Neith isn't going to be running the game, but she's going to be providing this utility to the side lanes and the jungler that you just can't get from other people.
And now we see Aladdin roping up behind the Food Fighters team, but Loki is also behind him. Juan eating some initial poke, but now Aladdin's in danger. His bead's already down as he tries to chase the kill, going deeper still into this Food Fighter jungle. And then there goes the Loki ult, the Khepri ult to save him. And it looks like it's going to be a clean disengage. I lied. Papa Nike going back in. Khepri's almost dead. Aladdin's almost dead. He is being utterly ignored right now as Poppin chases these kills. Cupid dashing in behind the Yi, but going to leap over the wall. So after all the ults, all the aggression, nothing.
Yeah, it is criminal that there was not a single pick here. That's well played for both sides. The Gunshow Shoguns actually had the advantage for starting that fight, but the Loki being there actually made it an even fight, which is really good. As we see this Bacchus maybe getting another solo on this Mordred over here.
Well, Mordred ult going down, Bacchus ult to follow it. I mean, it's a little bit of a poke battle right now, but like you said, Fuego going the aspect, so just, I mean, he's going to have his ult up way more often, dashing away, but then Bacchus tries to leap, doesn't connect. Mordred going to clear wave. Imagine this probably ends up in another fight. Bacchus burp going down. But I don't think either side really has that kill potential right now. Mordred definitely bounced back after that kill, though. But, I mean, you can take a look at the damage charts, and even after getting the revenge kill, Bacchus has 1,700 more damage than Mordred already.
Yeah, that's all Mickey damage. It's all Mickey damage, you know? Nah. But, yeah, so they at least got him back in. Ooh, as a
now Neith ulting onto this Aladdin as he runs into this Loki, but I think Loki needs to get out of here. Both the Agni and the Bacchus rotating in. Agni going to get the stun and finish off the kill. Poppin going down for his first death of the game.
Yeah, that's a... Oh, as they're getting invaded by this Aladdin, but Aladdin getting chunked by Neith combo, and that's why you just don't look at Neith.
This Aladdin lamp missing. I don't know if he wanted to go under the lamp with that Neith based off that damage check. I think he may have saved his own life by missing that there, to be honest. But he ends up getting away, and then Fuego getting tower dove at the 7.5 minute mark, going down to the Bacchus. Bacchus already at 3 kills.
Yeah, this is not what we want to see. Like Bacchus, he's just. I can't imagine being Lord Poseidon in this game, seeing that their solo laner is 2 levels up, being an aspect Bacchus, and just thinking to myself, like, how am I going to kill this guy? But that's why we picked Ganesh. No matter how fed they are, if they can't cast abilities, what are they really going to do? As they're pulling...
I mean, like you said, I mean, the Bacchus is a lot of natural aggression, but now a fight taking over in mid. The beads getting popped by Papa Nike on his way out. Ganesh throwing his ult, trying to get a little bit of space, but Nafam also having to leap for his life, and now their beads goes down, but he walks back forward, gets a lot of damage in. Poppin going to trade the kill onto Death X the King, and it ends up being a 1-for-1, and then the gentleman's like, okay, hey, we got what we want. Let's all just leave. Just the moment one character died for both teams, just no more fighting after that.
Yeah, for me, that's a really questionable sign of aggression from this Food Fighters team, because Like, what do we want to fight for there? Like, gold's coming up. Now they've all had to reset, and Gunshow's on the front foot pulling this Gold Fury. They don't even ask their Bacchus to come over because of the lead they have, but they have to watch out for the Cupid and the Ganesh that have just shown up with their slow burn.
Yeah, Cupid walking forward with that ult, going to go ahead and pop it, get Gunshow off of it, but Gold Fury still at roughly 3,000 health, and it looks like Gunshow not going to pick it back up, and instead just take the little win of getting Cupid's ult and then back out. But, I mean, Kalo doesn't have his ult either, so both ADCs just in duo lane minus their ults now.
Yeah, that's a really good trade for Hui, because now he can step up the waves without having to worry about getting his beads forced for free. Which, as everybody who knows, whenever you play Hui into Cupid, whenever Cupid has ult, you are playing super defensive on a god that you want to be very aggressive with. And
Yeah,
I'm noticing this Ganesh went Cersei's Hexstone first item. That is interesting to me. I usually opt to see things like Stampede or Beads, or Talisman, but hey, you never know. Juan might be cooking up something
ult. He's charging ult, looking at duo lane. Ganesh and Cupid are there. Ganesh has ult, but I don't think anything's going to happen. Okay. I just realized that Neath ult's down, so maybe that was a visual bug, because Neath couldn't have shot the ult anyway. But Loki coming on a gank into this Bacchus, the up down going to land on Loki, but I mean, he's just knock up immune in his 3. Bacchus going to go down again to the pick, and I mean, I say again, but Bacchus is still 3-2.
Yeah, that's a really good gank from Poppin to come and put some more pressure onto this Bacchus, but at the price of their red buff, like, I think that's a fair trade. Because anything to put this Bacchus in the dirt right now is good for this team, because this Bacchus so far is the only person on this Gunshow team that's really pushing in their lane and buying a lot of pressure. So as you can see from player damage, this guy has 7,000 player damage. That's almost double anybody else on his team. But it's solo lane. We like to see them getting active. Like, XP difference. See, Gunshow's only barely ahead, so these ganks onto this Bacchus are actually, like, closing the gap. And as we can see, if we can go back to builds, Neath still has not finished her second item. She's looking for that Chronos Pendant, as Loki is finding himself in duo lane.
Yeah, Loki going to go ahead and get his 3 down. Khepri ult, Ganesh ult, Cupid ult. I mean, the Khepri gets his ult off, but now Cersei's Hexstone in by 1. No one on the follow-up, though, for the knock-up, so Khepri going to run away. I mean, Loki was looping back to look for the kill, but Agni, a quick rotation from mid to buy Izakor a little bit more time to get his back off and get safely to that tier 2. Still going to be the neutral buff. Oh, okay. So, I mean, we didn't mention it, but Fuego did get both kills on the gank by Pop and Nike, so apparently those 2 kills made him go from being solo to soloing this Bacchus, and I don't really get it, but I mean, good for him. Solo now completely, like, coin flipped at this point back to the Mordred, who now has over a level. He just ticked over to 14, over a level lead on this Bacchus. But Gunshow going to pull the Gold Fury in response. I mean, we only have Ganesh here, Cupid on the way for this Food Fighters team. No Ganesh ult, no Cupid ult, no Neath ult. Now a lamp onto the Ganesh, so we can't try to sunder it. I mean, it's easily going to be a kill onto this Juan. Izakor ending up sundering and getting this Gold Fury for his team. Hou-Yi ult burned in the process, but I mean, lamp for Juan, so you can't steal it, and then you get a kill on top of it with the Gold Fury. It's probably just a really good play for Gunshow, right?
Yeah, that's the best target he could use is Genie Lamp on, because, like you said, Neath is not going to out-secure Sunder. And Sunder versus Sunder, like, sure, they just didn't want to take the chance of 50-50, and I like that. And going back to the solo kill between Mordred and Bacchus, that's just item diff.
Now Bacchus rotating down to this red buff. Food Fighters finally put up a fight for it, ended up getting it. Now Nafam walking through 2 people to go and pick it up, but Bacchus is chasing this Loki all the way back behind the ward camps. Neathalt hitting Agni, but just not enough damage yet to finish the kill. Aladdin running, but Fuego using the Mordred ult to chase him down, but no one followed up on him. He ended up getting the Aladdin beads regardless, though. Bacchus all alone being silenced by this Ganesh as he gets collapsed on by this entire Food Fighters team minus Cupid, trying to get to the Wind Sprite, but Loki ult coming out to buy a little bit extra time, and wow! The Bacchus Sunder ult combo enough to trade out the Loki. So ends up being a 1-for-1.
Yeah. Bacchus doing big AoE
I
lied.
Wad going down as well to Agni's bomb, so I guess never call a 1-for-1 too early until everyone's backed, and now Pyro on the menu for this Gunshow team.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see this Pyro back up, or this Pyro pool. I believe one just overstayed too long. I don't know. But now we see Neith getting some poke on Agni, trying to draw them off and stall this Pyro. She's gonna walk up here, looking to steal with her abilities, and Gunshow does have a Sunder, yep.
Lamp being used onto this Nike to get him out of there by this Aladdin, trying to buy that extra bit of time. Nafam going to shoot the arrow, though, hit the Aladdin. The combo's coming through, possibly trading out the kill, and then Kepri ult changes the whole dynamic. It does get popped. Nike still just trying to buy some time to get out. Does get it, but unfortunately Ganesh not there in time to get the ult and the peel down. So Nafam ends up dying on this Neith. It doesn't get the kill either for the return. So it's going to be a Pyro and a Neith for this Gunshow team.
Yeah, are we sure that this Izakor is not just Houdini? This guy has been an escape artist with less than 50 HP on cooldown from Wanty Floss this game, as we see Pop and Nike over here on the Loki looking to get this Hui out.
And that's the Hou-Yi combo going down. This Cupid is getting awful low if this Loki's not going to rotate in, but the combo landing, getting both stuns off. No beats by the Hou-Yi. Loki going to ult to follow up and secure this kill onto Kalo. So, I mean, that got close. I mean, Nike took all the time waiting for that one.
Yeah, Loki's kind of getting collapsed on over here. The Bacchus is staying out of his lane for a little too long, so he's losing a lot of farm. But Wanty Floss is getting caught out.
Yeah, Ganesh going to drop the ult to try to save himself. Bacchus is going to leap over it, though, for the knockup. And, I mean, the damage is just too strong right now. Nafam trying to rotate over to help. Lucky that they let Neith backflip over those walls in Smite 2, because in Smite 1, that's a double kill right there. And now Cupid being rotated down on too. I mean, Gunshow is just deathballing.
Yeah, I think that's just poor awareness from Wanty Floss, because you see Gold's up now, he's picked, and that's pretty much a free pool from Gunshow. But it looks like they might be baiting for this Food Fighters team to walk up so they can take this fight.
I mean, Mordred walking up, throwing the combo at Rory, doing a little bit of damage, but, I mean, there's still some protections on that Bacchus, and he is level 15. Gold Fury going down to half. Bacchus leaping in on the Neith, but Neith walking forward, trying to steal it with the combo, and it is stolen by Food Fighters. Nafam stealing it with the Neith combo. Now we got the follow-up fight afterward. Poppin trying to run for his life. Neith using their ult to try to buy him a little bit of separation, and Mordred collapsing and killing this Bacchus, and now Food Fighters going in and holding this W key after them. Death X the King dying in Lamp. Agni Beads going down, not enough to save him. Dying to the Loki as well, and the chase continues. Kepri ulting himself. Hou-Yi leaping in, managing to trade out the Cupid. But, I mean, there it is. Okay, I was about to say, how is Kepri not dead yet? Neith finishing him off and then popping on the wraparound, going to finish off the Hou-Yi. So a deicide and a gold steal for this Food Fighters team.
Yeah, I would like to see them back here and push mid tower or gun it straight to fire. I think you want to prioritize these mid towers over doing this Pyromancer, but I'm not mad at it. An objective is an objective, and they're not confident enough with making the push on the Fire Giants, so this will get some gold in their pocket and a bomb for the next push.
Yeah, even after the Gold Fury Steel and the Deicide Gold, roughly even, maybe 1,000 lead for this Order team, going to bump up now to about a 3 or 4K lead for them. So getting a little bit of a lead and then backing out and doing the Naga on their way out, and Neath going to get possibly their third red buff of the entire game at the 19-minute mark.
Yeah, they have been losing that red on cooldown, but that fight, even without Wantifloss for most of it, they got in. Neath is free casting. She out secures the Kepri, who I don't even think used their Sunder. And as soon as they get that Gold Fury, they're just W King. They don't even care about backing up. Like, these players are not scared to get in there and fight, like whether they're behind or ahead. And that fight alone got Food Fighters a 3K lead over this Gunshow team, even though they've been on the back foot the entire match. And an interesting... Go ahead.
I was going to say, we talked about it. I mean, an entire Deicide and a Gold Fury for the Food Fighters in that fight, and the gold was still even. So they had to have been down 4, maybe even 5K before that fight took place.
Yeah, that fight was completely massive for them. I was flabbergasted that they even took the fight after one got poked, but hey, it worked out. They said, split the map, no thanks. We're gonna Deicide them and get everything on the map.
And now Loki ganking this Bacchus again. Neath going to go ahead and ult, but not going to do anything for them. I mean, Mordred Sunder going down. Okay, Neath ult going down for 60 seconds. Sure. Loki ult going down for 60 seconds. Sure. But now Ganesh jumping onto this Agni, going to get the beads and a little bit of poke on him. Kepri rotating in to buy a little bit of space for his mid laner. As this Aladdin and Ho Yi run at duo lane. It is non-stop combat, this fight. Ho Yi behind the tier 1 tower. But this Loki is going to wrap around. And Ho Yi just going to throw the ult for Peel. But it looks like the entire map, minus Agni and Mordred, going to collapse in on another Gold Fury fight. And the Gold Fury's not even up yet. Nafam here from mid. Mordred still split pushing, but Bacchus here Bacchus is dead. Bacchus is not here. I lied. I apologize. But it's just a massive rotate for seemingly nothing right now.
Yeah, these teams, they see farm on the map, and it just all disappears the moment they see the other team posturing for anything. Which I do want to give props to this Loki, that rotation over to left, because as you could tell, the Aladdin and the Hui were about to get very aggressive when Lord Poseidon on this Cupid pick, and that just all got shut down. And the Hui ult got forced just by this Loki showing up. So props to him playing that support role a little bit. You know, we like to see that. And as we see, Cupid opted for Executioners over Titan's Bane. And the Hui doesn't have
back stopped here. Now he's getting grabbed by Kepri. He may be in real danger, but his ult ends up getting cast. Sorry to interrupt you. I thought Mordred may have actually just got picked on a lazy back there, backing at the enemy team's red.
No, yeah, I thought he was gonna walk away.
And now Bacchus leaping in, but a heart bomb on him, going to buy them a little bit of time for Neath to backflip out of there. Going to be the Bacchus ult and the Ganesh ult to give their back line a little bit of time. Nafam lost half their health in maybe a quarter of a second between the Bacchus leap in and ult. So even though he's been picked a few times and now is down 3 levels, Bacchus still doing insane damage to these squishies.
Yeah, as we see this Gunshow Shoguns team opting to go over to gold with the Loki here, but now Food Fighters sees this and they go, hey, I raised you a fire giant, because if you guys aren't going to show up over here, we're going to get this free fire giant, you know? And sadly, Gunshow just lost their Aladdin in a 5v2.
Yeah, I mean, Poppin went over there, did some extra damage. Neath threw the ult to poke, and now Bacchus on their way to the Fire Giant, realizing a few seconds, if not a full minute too late what was happening. Mordred going in, ulting, knocking up this Bacchus. Now the Cupid is there for the follow-up, going to hit the Cupid Heart Bomb, and ult on this Bacchus as well, so it looks like it's going to be a massive fight. Kepri going to ult the Bacchus, end up saving his life, but, I mean, Food Fighters is firmly on the aggression after this Gold Fury fight where they got the Deicide.
Yeah, I really like seeing them posture here for this mid tower, which I feel like they should have gotten a while ago, but hey, better late than never.
Bacchus going back in after a back, going to try and hit the burp to buy his team some space, but he's a level 17 anymore. This isn't the 10-minute up 3 levels Bacchus that we're used to. Neath ult going to hit him, not enough damage to finish him off yet, but Aladdin getting stunned and then murdered before he can even get the lamp off. Agni managing to trade it out. Solo for jungle, 1-for-1. But, I mean, Food Fighters is still posturing now, finally backing up on this tier 2. But as I say that, Poppin is looped all the way back to behind their speed buff. So maybe having to use his ult to get out if he's not careful. Ult from the Bacchus and the Sunder. I think Bacchus just guaranteed his own death. And he did, Loki ulting, managing to trade away the kill instead of ulting for safety as his team pulls this Pyro in front of Agni. But I don't think Agni has any say in this.
Yeah, I actually love this 2-for-2 that Gunshow is traded out, because not only are they just taking time and members off of this Food Fighters Fire Giant push, but Food Fighters hasn't even broken a T2. They haven't even touched a T2 yet, which is huge for having a 23-minute Fire Giant that they grabbed. So as much as it's like awkward that they died, this is actually very good for them. And deaths aren't too staggered, so everybody should be up and ready to go for whatever this next fight would be. I assume this Food Fighters team is going to group back up and try to push it down left lane to answer this Hui, but there's no telling. And if you take a look at Mordred's build, this guy is pretty much unkillable unless there are 4 people hitting him. He has all of the lifesteal in the world needed, on top of a Phoenix shield and a Phoenix feather. Like, this guy just says, hey, you guys want to kill me? I raise you a half of a health bar back. So
and we see it on the chart, 14,500 self-healing at the 25-minute mark, and that doesn't take into account he's been dead the last minute. I mean, you've pretty much got to kill him twice in every fight. Now Neath going to throw the combo at the Khepri, Cupid Heart Bomb going down as well, but I think they're just trying to regain map control here, trying to get that push back on as the entire Gunshow team backs up and Food Fighters lets them, waiting on this Loki, and I'd assume this Mordred to group back up before they do anything. But, I mean, we've talked about a lot of people in this game, but, I mean, we haven't talked about Agni yet. Agni is 4-1-3 right now.
Yeah, the Agni is one of the shining lights for this Gunshow team. As Genie, Aladdin throws his lamp out and beads by the Neath. Good reaction time.
Yeah, that was great reaction time by Nafam there, not to get thrown into that lamp and ruin this push. But as I say that, Neath combo going down on the Aladdin, Ganesh going to ult as well. Get Aladdin beads before he walks over the Ganesh ult, finishes off the kill. But Ganesh trapped by the Hou-Yi ult for a little bit. Khepri dying before the Ganesh can. Ganesh is running for his life, but Hou-Yi is just W-king after it, being able to trade out the kill. Bacchus on the wraparound, but Poppin gets there before him, trades out this Hou-Yi. Cupid dashing back in, trying to throw all the bombs and abilities after this Bacchus. Bacchus leaping in, trying desperately to trade a kill here. Not going to get it, though. This entire Food Fighters team, -1, surviving on less than 40% health.
Yeah, I still think that them actually playing through this Bacchus and trying to shut him down is paying dividends right for them right now. Because you see this Cupid 4-1-8. If this guy has not been aggressed on by this Bacchus at all, and that's a mid-Phoenix essentially for free. They traded a D aside for just Wantifloss, and this means they can back up, they can get this Oni Fury, and they can posture for Fire Giant. And
yeah, we can see
I
it
don't
on
think
the damage
Gunshow
charts.
can step up.
No, I don't think so either. Gunshow, I mean, we see it on the damage charts. This Bacchus, like we mentioned at the 6-minute mark, the 10-minute mark, and 12-minute mark, still the top damage in the lobby. But like you said, he's behind so far now that, yeah, the damage is still there, but the tankiness has not been for a while. I mean, he's gone from 3-1 to 5-8.
Yeah, and I actually really enjoy the build path that this Bacchus has opted for. He saw all of this healing and lifesteal from this Mordred, and he's kind of answering it. He's just going in, ulting, getting half of his HP back, and then sundering and just doing as much damage as he can. But him and this Aladdin are just either going in separately or not on the same page when they're both going in. As a Pyro is pulled,
Nike throwing some abilities, buying a little bit of space, but I think the moment that they saw anyone was zoning, Gunshow immediately back all the way up to behind the ward camp. And Food Fighters start positioning around this fire giant, starting to get some wards on it, and maybe a pull in front of their face. I mean, I'm not. It is a 10k lead for them, but okay, now they start backing up.
Yeah, I like giving the pyro up there for Gunshow because they don't really. They're 10k behind. Pyro's not gonna make or break the game for them, but what they really do not want to happen is letting this Food Fighters team pick up this fire giant for free because that will probably spell the end of the game. But I have to question this. This Kepri went Leviathan's Hide 3rd item. And this Hui still has not bought penetration for this Mordred at all. So I fear that this Mordred is just gonna continue to free cast without dying. Yeah, see, this Kepri only has 8 stacks of Leviathan's Hide. And if anybody knows what 8 times 8 is, that's only 64 health. I don't see the value in this pick. That could have been a Spirit Robe or like Anemian, anything that can just help him to not die, you know? And get some more peel for his backline, but this Loki has 2,700 gold in his hand. He should be pushing maybe another wave or two in backing, as this Gunshow team is the first one to be grouped up on this fire giant. They see Loki over here. They might start to pull here.
Yeah, Loki sprinting to the teleporter now, as I'm assuming Nafam probably tells them, hey, buddy, we need you. And then, I mean, the burn isn't fast. It's still down to 16k, but Bach is already leaping in onto this Cupid. Half health, like you said, that's gone. Nafam also getting spaced out, but now here comes Mordred on the re-engage. Kepri going up in the air. Ganeshalt waiting for him when he lands. Kepri all going to be burned, but now Nafam walks back forward and is in danger. Ho Yi goes over the wall, accidentally finds Cupid as well. Double kill onto the backline, but Mordred is terrorizing Gunshow's backline by himself. Ganesh trying to help him out a little bit, but Agni does go down. There goes both the backliners and the frontliners for Food Fighters. Loki trying to go in and finish off the Aladdin kill, but just not enough damage, barely surviving. 58 health, and consider that's 5 or 6 seconds after the fight where he's regenning. But, I mean, this Gunshow team, Ho Yi is staying to push. I lied. Ho Yi is not staying to push a tier 2 tower. We've got them decided for 30 seconds. What are we doing here? Fire?
Yeah, this is a questionable call for me. There's no world that they end here, all right? And that's really good awareness for them to see the Loki pop up and left and to just hit the W key with this Bacchus jumping in, ulting, sundering. Cupid couldn't even fight by the time the fight started. And then this Pyromancer, or this Fire Giant, it opens up the map. I'm not too mad at it, because now they can pull this Fire Giant, and then they get to clean up Pyro Gold and then all 3 T2s. So while they're not getting that mid-Phoenix, getting every objective on the map and all 3 of their T2 towers, that's way, way more worth than a mid-Phoenix. So I actually see the vision, and I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of digging it.
But, I agree. I think my biggest worry was the burn for this Bacchus, who was already low. I mean, we saw he almost died there towards the end, getting knocked up into that fire field. Food Fighter's going to pull a retaliatory Pyro, but like you said, I mean, it's Fire Giant over Pyro and a Deicide over 2. Big fight for Gunshow.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them backing after that Fire Giant and just letting Food Fighters walk up and take the Pyro. But I don't see Food Fighters trying to hard contest on gold. If I'm Gunshow, I'm clearing this next mid-wave, and I'm gunning it over to gold and making them come and fight us.
Bacchus getting a stun out on a Poppin, and now he's getting combo. Does get the dagger off successfully, but now, I mean, Ho Yi leaps in once again, immediately gets knocked out by this Ganesh, and now the Mordred, I mean, there's some danger on these leap ends. Fuego ends up going down first. Ho Yi full health. And, I mean, this Gunshow team is just running at them. Down goes Cupid. Offam on this Neath being chased down by Agni. Tries to return it, but just not going to happen. I mean, Loki, excuse me, is the only person left standing for this Foo Fighters team, and now alt down as all four with fire, start pushing down this left-hand lane, going straight to the Phoenix.
Yeah, this should be game. I mean, I'm not gonna leave it away from Nike to sit here and get a big ult and fight on them, because this Gunshow team has no ultimates up, but it looks like
this is
Loki
a
got
big
a
ask.
late back off. Oh, but he does pick the Agni.
If he gets out and gets to reset, there's a real world where he can try to come back in here, but I don't think he has enough time. Gunshow end up taking game one and as close to a roller coaster on graphs and in just aggression and map control as there's ever been. 25-21, Gunshow takes it.
Yeah, this game went south the moment the Loki started split pushing left, and Gunshow was aware of it and just hit the W key. Even though this Bacchus was rotated on and shut down twice, this man has just put in work for this Gunshow team, and you love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, talked about him having a huge lead at the beginning, and then he fell down, but he was still top damage. I mean, top damage by 2K over the Loki. So Loki ended up closing the gap a little bit, but I think one of the biggest deciding factors, and like I said, we didn't talk about it much, was this Agni damage in those late game fights. I want to say Agni was bottom 3 or 4 in damage every time we checked, except for those last two major fights for Gunshow. I mean, bouncing all the way up to third place on these damage charts. And just a quick final look at all the items and the stats here as we get ready to send ourselves to break as we wait for game 2. Welcome back to Food Fighters versus Gunshow. Enkidu, Food Fighters grabbing that first win. So the kids fighting back against Father Juan and managing to retain some independence for now as we load into game 2. Before P's and B's start, was there anything that you would like to see Gunshow or even Food Fighters change up in their drafts?
I really liked Food Fighters draft last game. I think it was pretty much picture perfect, but I'm thinking maybe Food Fighters, even though they won, want to change up and maybe go with a more aggressive jungle pick to help this Bacchus out who is putting in work. Because we know Rory wants to get in there, so maybe we need a more aggressive early game jungler to help him out with that.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw the Aladdin get picked, which usually means a whole lot of aggression. The game did not go his way with how fast that Loki was able to start. And then an Ares, and once again, a Merlin ban, but I mean, he did plenty of work on the Agni. Are you surprised by the Merlin getting banned again?
Yeah, but hey, maybe it's just a pick that they're not comfortable playing against because the god is very, very good if it's in the right hands. I would say I would even value Merlin more than Agni if the person that's playing it knows how to play it very well. So maybe Io Sky is just a beast and I don't know about it.
That's a fair point. And then Nafam getting this Neath respect banned, and then Tsukiyomi being banned once again. Bacchus also getting respect banned away from Rory.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Fuego's having flashbacks of just getting jumped on and killed on the first like 3 waves of the game. And even though they shut him down, he was still getting in, doing a ton of damage, whether he died or not. And that's pretty much all you can ask out of a solo laner. So I really, really like this ban.
Then an Odin once again being banned. So the notable ban that is different this time, the Sun Wukong, and as I say it, immediately first picked for Rory.
Yeah, I like the Wukong pick. I don't know if it's what Rory's going for with this hyper aggression int for a lot of damage play style, but you can't go wrong with a Wukong. It could be going mid to Io Sky, and then Food Fighters going with this Agni, taking it away from Io Sky this game.
So far, bans somewhat similar, besides the 2 respect bans, but the picks totally different. Sunwoo going first, and then the Agni immediately stolen away from Io Sky. And then another Mordred hover that is once again going to be picked for this Food Fighters team.
Yeah, I guess Fuego was doing work on the Mordred after he got a little bit of help in his lane, so I don't hate this pick. I think the pick is very good, very safe, and very annoying to kill late game, especially if Kalo is going to opt to not go penetration again.
Yeah, and we actually had Chef Baba in chat say that Izakor actually likes the Wukong in support, and then immediately, predetermined that Chalk also being picked for this Gunshow team. So now, Chalk can be played in mid, Sunwoo can be played in mid. Apparently, Sunwoo gets played in support. Both can play jungle, both can play solo, but it's definitely not going ADC if Houyi is once again picked for this Gunshow side.
Yeah, what I would like to see here is the Wukong go into mid, and then Rory get another one of these solo laners where he can just leap in this case, dash to his axe, and just big AoE ult, sunder big damage. This guy had a lot of success on it last game, and I would love to see it again. As Food Fighters opts for the Baron, if this is not signature Wanty Floss support pick, I don't know what is.
Yep, Juan probably licking his lips as he got permission to lock that one in, and then a Cupid to follow up. So once again, following the massive CC that this Cupid can bring out for the team. Also had a pretty decent game on it, and then trading it out for a more aggressive support, this Baron instead of the Ganesh.
Yeah, I really like Baron as a support. I think he's one of the best supports in the game currently. I don't know how I feel about it into this Gunshow team. I don't think it brings enough value, especially whenever it comes to looks like to be an Athena jungle. Oh, this has me licking my chops, man. I love this pick. And then the Scylla mid, Scylla's gonna live. Scylla's gonna throw abilities over the wall. do Scylla things, you know?
Yeah, and we saw Io Sky only had, I think it was 4 deaths at the end of the game, maybe died in Titan Room for 5, but for the most part it was a 1 death Agni for the vast majority of that game. So Scylla, a noticeably safer pick. I mean, there's a chance that he just gets to free cast and do whatever in these fights if the last game was any indication. But if you're looking for a pick to potentially not let them do that, Fenrir being locked in for this Food Fighters team.
And you know what I just realized? It could be actually, I don't think it's going to be IO on the Scylla. I think they're going to take the Wukong or the Chalk in mid, and we're getting the Scylla support with the Athena jungle is another possibility. And then Food Fighters locking in this Fenrir. I am sort of a Fenrir merchant myself. I love this pick. I think this pick is very, very good right now, and I'm actually excited to see both of these teams. But if I had to give it to one of them based on draft so far, I'm going to have to give it to Gunshow.
Yeah, I think Gunshow just has a lot of picks that when you look at the game state in general, I mean, Ho Yi, top 2 or top 3 ADC, also pretty high up there in mid as well. Chalk, just as high in solo. Sun Wukong, just as high in mid, just as high in solo. Like, there's a lot of potential, depending on where these picks end up finishing for Gunshow, to just have some dominant laning phases. Food Fighters has some fight back. I mean, we saw just how much Agni can do with this damage. We saw what Fuego did on the Mordred. Imagine if he's not behind in lane to start this game off, not going into the Bacchus, like you said. We've all seen Juan play Baron a million times. Cupid has an insane amount of CC. And then we've got a Fenrir as well, popping Nike. That's one of his signature aggressive jungle picks. So we talked about not wanting him to split push on the Loki. Well, if he doesn't, and he sits in the team fights on this Fenrir, I mean, the backline is in danger.
Yeah, I'm a lot more excited to see Poppin on this Fenrir than I am on the Loki. But we are experiencing some technical difficulties, so we're about to go to a short break before we come back and we get into Gunshow versus Food Fighters Enkidu Division Game 2. We'll be right back, y'all.
Welcome back. Technical difficulties getting a little bit better for the food fighters, though they do say that they're still having a little bit of problems. They're going to try to play it out. Full PC reset wasn't enough. And now that we load in, we start seeing a lot of these relics. We start seeing who's on what pick, start seeing these aspects. Do you change your mind at all about how this Gunshow team has organized their picks?
Yeah, I'm really questioning the Wukong support over going the Scylla support with the Wukong mid. I think that changes up the dynamic of this team a lot since they not only first picked the Wukong, but they're off-rolling it into probably his weakest of 4 roles. So I think I like Food Fighters draft here more.
Yeah, I agree. A little surprised. Chef Baba in the chat did call it though. The moment that the Wukong was picked first overall, that it was going to Izakor. Maybe they planned on flexing it and they just liked the matchups a little bit more. Who's to say? But we do have a chalk aspect into another Mordred aspect in the solo lane now.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Rory is on this chalk and not this Wukong or this even this Athena this game because this guy had a lot of success going in using big AoE ult, sundering, and just getting a bunch of damage off before dying. So I really like that they kept with that playstyle. I'm really excited to see the Athena jungle. We don't see that very often, but every time we do see it, I love it. I think this pick is very slept on and very good. As we see, Wantifloss looks like he's going to be going into a life binder first item. Hey, that's another sleeper pick that I love. My own support likes to go life binder. Quote unquote, the item is broken.
And a Baron aspect as well into the support for Juan here.
Yeah, that's just gonna be free damage. Like, it's not gonna provide the healing or the haste utility that non-aspect Baron provides, but he's gonna be peeling by making half of the jungler's HP go away off of a combo. So hey, it's gonna work out, I believe. And he gets that pot up more often, which is more poke damage in lane. Yeah, it's gonna. I really, really like the aspect Baron pickup.
Yeah, and this game already going slower than the last one because we haven't had 3 kills yet to start off the game, so a little bit more time to collect our thoughts here and kind of form opinions on these picks. So you said that you swap your mind now based on where these picks are at, your team food fighters. Is there any particular player or god that you think has to perform well in order for food fighters to win here?
Yeah, I think it's gonna rest on the back of this Fenrir and this Agni. I think Agni is very good. I would like to see this Agni getting aggressive in mid over this Scylla. They should have all of the aggression in the world as Fenrir Agni against Athena Scylla mid 2v2. And as we can see, this Fenrir is already wrapping, looking to get aggressive.
Yeah, Agni a little bit slow on the follow-up. Scylla going to be able to dash away to safety, and then Athena following soon after. But we did get a little bit of poke onto this Scylla, who is already out of pots. This Agni still holding onto both their health pots, so a small advantage sustain-wise going to this Agni already. But, I mean, if this was game 1, that's that's a double kill. There's kill and Nolo that respawned and died again. Like, there's already 3 in duo lane somehow. So a much calmer, more slow approach, I think, for both teams already as we get in. But as I say that, death on a rotate, but Poppin's already here staring at each other in this neutral camp that's already been dropped. Both junglers positioning for a gank, but it looks like DeathX the King is already calmed out, which I'm assuming the Fenrir is as well. But, I mean, gets hit with the Baron's Brew and decides that he's Scylla having to go for a quick back. Nafam interrupting it so they can get a little bit more pressure on this lane clear.
Yeah, I like the little stare down, but I really like that Fenrir got his back off first because now he's gonna beat this Athena to firebrands, which is a lot of farm. And as you know, rock stack, they give strength and intelligence, so you want to be on those as soon as they spawn at 3 minutes as much as possible. But we see Wukong already getting active with this boar. Like, maybe this guy's onto something I don't know about, and they're just getting free lane pressure off of it.
I mean, like we talked about, oh my gosh, and we missed it, but Chalk getting ganked by Papa Nike early on into this game. Papa going back to the lane that fed him in game one, getting a quick kill onto Rory. Fuego once again low, but does manage to survive during the gank, so slight lead to him. And was his blue invaded? Is that why it's still down right now? And then as we say that, Gunshow is sprinting at this Agni, going to go ahead and get the beads for free. But I think that means Chalk's blue was invaded and they were killed.
Actually, Death the King dropped the blue while Rory was getting killed in right lane.
Okay.
The Fenrir saw Brands. He said, "Brands on a platter. No thanks. I'll take Brands and the first blood." So that's a really good start for this Fenrir to get online and get a lead.
The numbers from this Baron finally starting to add up a little bit onto this Ho Yi. Half health pots being popped, trying to get his health back up for this wave that is coming. Still has one health pot in the back, so not a doom scenario. And then obviously, we all know Somu's base damage really high, so their lane clear pretty good, even though Ho Yi's isn't the best right now, able to keep that out of tower and get the full XP and gold.
Yeah, but one thing I want to point out, because this game, the pace is about to get decided by whether this Athena is abusing her ultimate across the lane or across the map on these side lanes. Because once this, I assume this Athena is going into either trans or my personal favorite, Lernian Bow. Ooh, as Scylla barely dashes away while the Athena ult we were just talking about over to solo lane to just put this Mordred in the dirt, and that is why you pick this Athena. It doesn't matter where you show up on the map, you're on the other side of it 2 seconds later.
Yeah, and I was keeping an eye on the health bars while you were talking. I mean, Fuego was leading the health trade there, almost full health to 2/3 for Rory, but I mean, an Athena ult over, changing pretty much the entire dynamic of the fight, and Fuego had just backed beforehand in order to finish his item, so he doesn't have quick. Chalk able to get some tower damage and shove the whole wave under tower after the gank as well, so just horrific timing on that gank for that Mordred.
Yeah, it went so well for this Chalk and Athena still hasn't backed and gotten her item yet. So that's without backing for the entire practically 6 minutes. I actually believe she backed and then instantly ulted over and didn't buy her item while she was backed, but once she gets this back off and she gets her first item, she is going to be an even larger threat on this map, and it is going to be dangerous. And as she opts for the Lernian, it seems like an odd pickup, but I love this build path. As Fenrir and Mordred secure these rocks once again, you love to see it.
And giving them 2 Mordred as well. Poppin didn't grab them.
Yeah, as Fenrir gets this blue invade. One thing I'll talk about with this Athena build is you can expect to see crit coming online very quickly. This build may have been taken from yours truly. I'm not sure. I did play some casual games with Rory today. Played the Athena. He might be putting death onto some tech. You never know.
I mean, I guess we'll wait and see how it goes, though. But gank 1 for the Athena going very well so far, managing to finish the item. And now Athena is just doing the backs, everything once again slowing down. But, I mean, Food Fighters deciding to flip the script and invade the red for themselves this time, going to this Fenrir. Fenrir is wearing 2 buffs. Neither of them are his speed right now, and both of them belong to Gunshow.
Yeah, we see 3 people rotating on this Chalk, but do they not remember that the moment they go on this Chalk, it's going to be a 3v2 and not a 3v1? That's the danger with this Athena, but they decide, hey, it's not worth it. This Chalk's too tanky. He'll live to see another day.
Yeah, and especially with Chalk having the ult there as well. I mean, even if you all in him, Chalk ult's buying some time for the Athena to ult. And as we say that, Athena ulting over to this duo lane under tower, going straight at this Cupid. Cupid going to Heart Bomb and beads and ult. So, I mean, all the defense is gone. And then as we're looking at this Athena ulting, Dilla gets collapsed the moment that Athena leaves, ends up dying. Io Sky starting this game 0-1.
Yeah, I think Death may not be comfortable in the Athena pick, or like I feel like he overestimated the amount of damage that he does. As we're still getting active over here. Hui jump is down.
Yeah, and Baron going ahead and ulting, Ho Yi ulting as well, and they do manage to pull Kalo here. Kalo going down on this Ho Yi, followed up by the Fenrir ult, and now we have 3 staring at 3, but both going to back, or 2 staring at 3, excuse me, both backing up. But as we're speaking, now Agni is being ran at by this Chalk all the way from solo lane. Scylla going to hit the crush over the pillar in the Gold Fury pit. And I mean, Agni just left there on a platter on the Chalk rotation. Now Chalk just sprinting at Baron. No one here is built enough to fight this Chalk this early into the game. Can't match that damage off the aspect. And it looks like they're kind of positioning for a gold pull. And then, I mean, Poseidon is down now. You got 2 people down on this Food Fighter side. Maybe a quick Gunshow gold, but it doesn't look like they're pathing there. Death is backing. Ho Yi maybe running to it?
Yeah, I thought these guys maybe forgot who they were, but nope. This last minute and a half has told you that these guys are right back into the same energy as last game. They're just fighting and fighting everywhere around this duo lane. I really like this early rotation from Chalk. They have Thunders, though, on this Gunshow team.
And Food Fighter stole it.
Yeah, Nafam coming in. See, that's the worry about pulling Gold Fury after you use your Thunders aggressively.
And now this fight continuing. Chalk going down. Agni bombs hitting for everything. Sunwoo also going down. The fight continues. Fenrir on the chase. Ho Yi trying to drop his ult to buy him some time, but Scylla's ult following up, getting the kill onto this Fenrir. So ended up chasing a little bit too far, but now Athena's caught out. Baron going to ult, guarantee that he's separated and killed. So not only did we get the Gold Fury stolen from us, not only did everyone pop their ults in that fight, but you just lost everyone in that fight.
Yeah, this Food Fighters team came out and said, hey, you may have gotten us back game 1, but we're going to pick our comfort picks. We're going to pick stuff that we know that works, and we're going to run it down. And I think a lot of it has to do with Wantifloss getting his signature Baron pick. And if you notice, he went Gemma Focus into Regrowth Striders. So this guy is zooming around the map. He is there to make plays.
Yeah, and if you're someone that doesn't have a disengaging ability, which, as I say, the entire Gunshow team does have, very big threat, but apparently them having a disengagement ability doesn't really help them, considering that Baron is already 2-3 at the 11-minute mark.
Yeah. I actually like this Gemma Focus Rego Striders. It's unconventional, but if this Athena dashes away from him, he's dumping abilities and he's just going to catch up to her 2 seconds later. So it's like he has his own chase down escape. Like, it's this... He's cooking with this build, and as we know, he didn't opt for the Lifebinder, which I think is a little weird.
Yeah, and I mean, like we talked about, getting supports that are aggressive enough to follow through. I mean, Agni going ahead and throwing the combo at Sunwoo, but I mean, we can see already 2 bombs, an entire combo down, and Sunwoo still at half health. But as we say that, Baron gets dashed in on, immediately counter pops ult. Sunwoo going to pop ult. Poppin leaps in underneath the tower on this Fenrir, but Juan, the first to go down, quickly followed by the Sunwoo. So now we've got both supports down, but Scylla's low, and Poppin is on the chase. Goes under tower, immediate dash and taunt, by this Athena. So going to have to pop the beads, doesn't get the kill, lost about 90% of his health bar, but is not killed, so the punishment isn't that bad. Chalk getting outpoked here by this Mordred massively, but Athena did just ult in on him. Unfortunately, Mordred already charging ult, so he just got out of there.
Yeah, that's actually a really good thing that he missed the ult on the Chalk, or else he would have been seeing a gray screen for about 30 seconds. So that's huge. Also, really good trades for Gunshow there, especially in mid lane. But it's crazy to think about this, but if you look at the player damage at the bottom left, all the damage coming from this Food Fighters team is in their Agni and their Baron. So this aspect Baron is already doing work, making room, and giving this team the pressure that they need across the map.
Yeah, we saw the Agni piloted by IO Sky last game, had a very good game, ended up getting the damage numbers up there. Nafam not nearly as patient, already the top damage by 3k at this 13-minute mark.
Yeah, it's it's just insane. I'm surprised. Like, don't be fooled by the Mordred's only 3.7k. All these times that this chalk has been rotating, this Mordred has just been farming. So the Mordred's actually ahead of the chalk, and once he starts rotating, he's gonna be a problem for this backline that he's ahead of currently. As we see right here in mid lane, this Wukong just getting poke off with his one. Him and Agni just slinging abilities back and forth. Athena doing red at the moment. Fenrir getting brands. This Gold Fury and this Pyro are up, so I'm assuming there's going to be a fight for either of them soon. I'd like to see one of these teams play for a poke, as both of these junglers in the right jungle are looking to make something happen.
And they perfectly dodged each other, both of them going to opposite sides of the red, so I don't think either of them know where they're at. But Athena does walk into this mid lane to buy a little bit of space while the Scylla goes and drops the red. But as we're speaking, Fenrir jumps under this chalk as Mordred finishes the tower. Mordred getting his ult off, Chalk also ulting, but not enough time on the silence to save his life. And it looks like he's going to be going down, but as we say that, he's still not dead, and Athena's ulted in. Athena combo going down. Now the two from Food Fighters very low. Poppin able to ult, get the damage to secure the kill, but it ends up being a 2-for-1 instead of just the 1-for-0 that we initially thought. Like you said, Athena Aspect giving him the ability to rotate from anywhere, pretty much at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, see, oh.
And then now there's another massive fight, or not massive, but important fight taking place in duo. Both ADCs popping their ults. Cupid also popping the beads and still being the one to go down there. So massive advantage for Kalo, managing to keep his beads in the fight against Cupid and get the kill. I mean, Gunshow has the advantage right now. Kind of surprised that we're not just walking towards this Gold Fury. It looked like Izakor may have been on his way, and then Agni decided to take a third of his health bar.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. Like, if I'm Food Fighters, I'm actually kind of a little bit frustrated off of that, because the Fenrir made a play in right. They got the 2-for-1 trade, and then unfortunately their ADC got soloed right after. And while I think it was good awareness from the Athena to ult to her chalk, I think they could have just gone straight to gold and pulled it while Fenrir was there. And that's also one of the few times where Athena Aspect is actually in the jungle is worse than non-Aspect. Because had she not had Aspect, she would have given that chalk a big shield, and they probably could have turned that fight and gotten a 2-for-0. As this,
yeah, we saw chalk lasted a long time too. And like you said, Food Fighters choosing to pick up the gold here. Baron immediately taking the Wind Sprite out to go out in zone, hits the root on death, but then immediately backs all the way into pit. Gunshow with a free ride all the way inside of it. Baron going to ult Sunwoo, who immediately ults afterward, but not down in time to steal it. I mean, the Gold Fury going the way of Food Fighters, but now the fight taking place afterward. There's a whole lot of Food Fighters people here who are pretty low in health. Fenrir ulting for the CC immunity to get away, and it looks like he's going to. Athena hopping an ult to chase him down, but ate a lot of poke for it. And I mean, the Fenrir is still alive. And then as Athena chases this Fenrir, Mordred buying all the space in the world on the remaining 4 players for this Gunshow team. So ends up going down, but that's a 1-for-0. But Food Fighters got the gold, and it looks like they're positioning to go for the Pyro now. And as we keep talking, Fenrir leaps in on the Athena, goes ahead, pre-beats the taunt, gets the kill. A smooth trade for the solo, even if they are a little staggered. Ends up being a 1-for-1 in gold, and now Food Fighters pushing into this tower. Lifebinder being popped. Baron getting a whole lot of value out of this aspect, getting the poke. And it looks like this Food Fighters team going to back up a little bit. And Gunshow going to walk forward, take a little bit of the space back. Maybe even look to push as this OU walks forward, but the rest of his team leaving him, going to this Pyro. So got a pick on the Athena. Thought we were looking for a Pyro there. And then it ends up just going the way of Gunshow after all the trade and poke. But Foo Fighters is around. Baron is walking forward, and he ends up taking it. I mean, no one zoning for Gunshow there. Scylla tries to throw the ult over the wall, not going to finish it. Rory's one shot, running away for her life. And now, I mean, Sunwoo going to Tiger Stance away and save his own life as he was deep trying to buy some space for his chalk. And this fight continues. Now Sunwoo in danger. Mordred going on and popping the Sunwoo ult for safety, and he's still going. Ends up ulting back to his tower. Juan eating even more poke, but now here comes the Mordred ult under the tower. Sunwoo going into the skies. Baron ult coming down, going to connect. and it looks like there's no follow-up there, but the damage is still ringing out. Kalo going down, Nafam going down, and now it's Mercury versus 3, but the damage is there. Baron going down on the Scylla follow-up. Chalk continues running at this Fenrir, who is all alone on the wrong side of the map, and eventually going to be chased down, I would assume, but so far he's, going to get wrapped around by the Scylla, ends up being picked right below the fire pit. I don't even know how many fights went whatever way, but that's a lot of kills, and the Gold Fury's been down. I mean, it's almost 3/4 on the way back to the respawn timer.
Yeah, that is. Both of these teams are relentless. I'll tell you. Like this all started with this Mordred 1v4ing for what felt like 30 seconds, while this Athena just found herself diving way too deep on Papa and Nike, and then as soon as they noticed that all 4 of them were on the Mordred, Nike ran down this Athena and killed her after she was the one who initially started the chase. And then from there, it was just back and forth with the pyro pool and everything. So these teams are relentless. These teams are getting active. But so far, most of these trades and fights have been on Food Fighter's side. And a lot of it is going on through this Baron and Agni. These guys, I don't know. Gunshow Shoguns needs to find a solution or stop fighting around these guys and look for other plays on the map. Because if fights keep going like this, it's going to start looking like they need to split map on this next gold. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a firefight here very soon.
And important to note, as Sinolin said in the chat, if you take a look at Baron right now, Baron still has Sunder up. So we got out-secured as 4 by a Baron who didn't Sunder. Granted, like you said, he has Gemma Focus. So he has 50 intelligence. But as we say that, Poppin goes for the purple invade, ends up being killed by this Athena and Ho Yi ult, and now Cupid on the chopping block, but the Sunbeam bow connecting on all the autos, and I think he's going to get the double, but Ho Yi goes up into the sky. Oh my goodness. That was almost a YouTube clip right there. Kalo barely surviving in 1 health and what finished as a 1v2, and they do get to pull the gold off of it. Poppin and Poseidon down, the only one rotating over being this Baron, who is being thoroughly zoned finally by the Sun Wukong. Finally an objective going Gunshow's way. 1 and 2 on pulls so far.
Yeah, we need Kalo to just go ahead and start the montage channel. As Wantifloss is walking up, egoing, and Rory just whiffs Chocolate because, like we pointed out, Wantifloss is too fast. You can't keep up with him. This guy...
And this Chalk is in danger. The rest of his team walking forward to buy him a little bit of space, because the moment he whiffed ult, he had no more safety. That axe going down, but as we say that, Poppin going back onto Kalo, trying to finish, Fuego going on to... oh my goodness, I'm lost. Fuego going on to Kalo to finish what initially started the Gold Fury fight and pull anyway. Ends up going down, but did get Kalo, and then Rory and Izagor end up dying trying to get the Fuego kill. So an overstay by Gunshow after finally getting a Gold Fury, so it ends up being 3 kills going to the side of Food Fighters, and now they're looking like they're going to push this tier 2 down.
Yeah, all that farming that this Mordred did in right lane while Rory was trying to get active on the map is starting to show. This guy is level 19, just putting in work. And I also love this Spectral pickup. Not only does it lower the Athena's damage with this Lernian and crit build, but both also the Hu Yi has crit, and the 25% attack speed slow on Spectral is actually insane. I think this item is amazing, and I love seeing Mordred have it here because it's just going to enable him to do a lot more work. And as we see the Athena with crit, you can expect a Titan's Bane next item, I would assume, because you're going to need pen, especially whenever these guys are getting Spectrals. And it looks like a Pyro pool from Food Fighters here.
Yeah, Food Fighters deciding to pull an objective of their own, and Lord Poseidon does end up securing it. So Food Fighters getting their 4th objective out of 5, and that's the first one that they've pulled. Sunwoo going to use the bull stance to try to get away. Cupid ult maybe to try to get him to cancel out of it, but not going to land. Scylla and Mordred exchanging ults. Excuse me. And then Athena ulting back all the way into the back to pick out this Cupid who was essentially left on an island by his team, but normally not a problem when you're the one behind your team. Athena ulting, landing, immediately finishing off this Cupid who took a little bit of poke during that pyro pull. And it ends up being a 1-for-0 after the pyro is taken. I think this is shown for both teams, but we're pulling objectives and overstaying. And now Sunwoo all the way up there by himself for no reason, going to lose his ult. Chalk ulting, but blocked by his own Hou-Yi ult. I'm immediately blaming my ADC for all of my problems, but the fight continues. Baron going to ult, not connect with anyone. So we ended up using, 8 additional ults for no one to die?
Yeah, these teams are really slinging their ults. And as we can see, this Scylla is starting to pump damage. It took her a while to get online, but that cripple just did a quarter of their HPs. And with it being AoE, it is very good. And this Agni is going to start seeing that this Scylla is not somebody he can just W key down anymore. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as Food Fighters keeps playing through this Mordred, they're going to be seeing a lot of success. Because this guy is a one-man army. And as we see, Cupid and Agni are walking over to Fire Giant through the bush, and Athena's here. So Cupid actually needs to be careful, because getting picked here would spell disaster for this team, as Papa Nike is looking for this Hou-Yi in left lane.
I mean, he's got the damage for it, a 25-minute Fenrir, but that immediate stun into the bow going to be a lot of damage on him. Athena also going to ult on the counter engage. Poppin ends up saving his own life, but as we're losing this tier 1 tower in left lane off a failed gank, we're also losing the tier 1 in right to a chalk. So a lot, never mind. Mordred actually getting there in time to save it on maybe 30 health, but the fight continues for Food Fighters. Hitting Athena with some abilities, going to take the heart bomb, and the poke by Agni immediately get put down to a 3rd health. And now everyone's backing up, getting a quick reset off. Besides, in this solo lane, Chalk once again being ganked. Poppin failed a gank in duo lane, immediately came to solo. But I mean, this is the level 19 Chalk aspect. We're getting to the point where this rain is starting to add up. Very close to trading that, and ended up being just a little bit too low on the damage numbers. And even when we're outnumbered in this Gold Fury jungle, Food Fighters are still pulling it in front of Gunshow.
Yeah, this Gold Fury's good here, as Kalo drops ult, with Scylla dropping ult and missing, but they still steal this Gold Fury out from Food Fighters.
Probably a little overzealous. Baron almost dead from the Gold Fury alone, let alone the 2 ults that ended up being dropped on his forehead when they were trying to secure it. So it does end up going to Gunshow. Gunshow getting an objective steal of their own. And, I mean, we're talking about how the objectives are kind of still pointing at Food Fighters. I think it's 4 or 6 to 2. Yeah, it's 4 to 2 out of 6, excuse me. But, I mean, it's only a 2K lead for this Food Fighters team right now because of all the fights that are taking place afterward. And as we're saying that, Gunshow is pushing into this tier 2 tower. Baron going to ult, going to connect onto this Athena, immediately put into the dirt. This Cupid Sunbeam Bow damage starting to look very threatening. Athena got into tower, maybe lasted a 1.5 seconds under it though. And Mordred on the wraparound looking to continue this chase. Like you said, he's a one-man army. Ulting underneath the tower. Sunwoo goes in the air, but he's not going to touch the ground again. Death to this entire Gunshow team as their tier 2 tower ends up being dove. I mean, Kalo's alive for now, but Fuego keeps going. Finishing off this Kalo kill. Another ult for Mordred. Connects onto the Scylla beneath the tier 2. Both of the remaining Gunshow players half health. Mordred finally ends up going down, but now the Chalk goes down to follow up. 4-1 on this Phoenix push. Scylla throwing the poke, almost trading out the Baron. And it looks like Food Fighters is just going to take the kills and back up, not wanting to push the Phoenix, honoring the Scylla's damage after what they just saw it do to the Mordred into the Baron.
Yeah, you know, maybe I just wasn't familiar with this game. We see this Mordred ult Scylla under tower, fight for 3 seconds, and then ult again. As we see, Wantifloss has a Mike Typhon in the bag, man. This item, I'm pretty sure, is terrible. But it makes a fight a 6v5, and I've seen Mike Typhon has some pretty nasty body blocks, so I'm interested to see what he does with this item. I wouldn't personally build it, but you never know. But yeah, this Mordred ulted in on Scylla. They fought for about 15 seconds, and this guy is ulting again, so this guy is obviously more comfortable with the Mordred, so Fuego Maego, I mean, props to you. Run what works. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Ooh,
As silly as
Agni.
half of her health taken by the Agni combo. That's not a good look.
Yeah, we just talked about honoring the Scylla damage for not pushing that mid Phoenix. Agni still started this game hurting, went through the mid game hurting, and now we're approaching late game. Hear me out. The mage still hurts. And as we say that, Food Fighters once again positioning in the mid, and Mordred is not going for the wraparound. He's actually going to this Chalk, who just left lane and went to his backs. Mordred going to catch the wave, I'm assuming for some reason. I don't know why he would, but now it looks like he's going to fight Chalk at his own backs.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it. He's trying to sit there, catch him out, stop his back. But this should be a decent setup for this Food Fighters team to look to pull a Fire Giant. We see a ton of vision around it, so I wouldn't be surprised if next pick is a very pivotal point.
Athena eating a combo, having to beads away to save his life. Cupid ulting himself as Sunwoo also lands on him and goes into the skies, but ends up being, once again, a whole bunch of ults for absolutely nothing. But Athena does ult back into the entire enemy team to immediately dash out because they realized they were a little too much dip on the chip there. Mordred in mid, and immediately you see it, Gunshow's entire team rotating to honor the fact that we do not want Mordred ulting us from the side again. But we walked away from the other 4 members of Food Fighters to stand in front of Mordred. But, I mean, Food Fighters immediately see it, immediately comment, and now are immediately pulling this Gold Fury. And they've got some massive damage on this zoning with Fenrir and Agni sitting there and waiting. Chalk going to throw Axe and Rain over the wall, but let's be honest, you're not going over it anyway. Sunwoo walks forward, sees it's at 2k health, immediately turns around. Hey, guys, little too late this time. Next time, though, for sure. But Mordred, even though his team got the objective, trying to ult away for safety, and he does get away, going to be the Teeds used by Sun Wukong, thinking that Mordred was going into his team. I was going to say Mordred got poked out for nothing, but to get a massive cooldown like that, especially when you are the Mordred who's going to abuse the team beads, I mean, I feel like that's worth it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he realizes that they use team beads on him there, but if I'm this Food Fighters team and we realize it, I am Fenrir ulting this Wukong straight into Cupid ult, and this guy is never getting up in the air. Like, as we saw, the last fight started with Cupid burning ult on a Wukong who still had ult, so it was a lot of wasted value as this Gunshow team is now pulling up and looking to pull Pyro, but this Food Fighters team
I have to assume that's bait. Have to assume that's bait. We haven't seen a Food Fighters objective pull go well. Now we're going to do it in front of, or excuse me, the Gunshow team pull an objective and have it go well. I mean, to want to pull that in front of the team that's been stealing it from you and is now up 8k, that has to be bait. And as we see that, they're backing up, immediately eating the poke, but Mordred dashing in on the Sunwoo. Sunwoo's already half health and trying to bull away. Mordred ulting to chase, though. Sunwoo going to go up into the clouds and save himself. But, I mean, your support's gone already to start this fight. Popping on the wraparound this time. And Chalk going in, trying to buy his team some time. Hits a massive 4-man silence. But it doesn't matter. Dies, and Poppin on the dive gets another one. Kalo following afterward. Nafam the only one down for Food Fighters as they continue this Phoenix push. Poppin finishing the kill and getting a little bit of laughs in beneath that Phoenix. Mods look away. I'm not sure if that's illegal or not, but surely we let it go. And then Phoenix being pushed down, but they don't have any of their damage dealers besides Pop and Nike. Not sure if we can end here, but Mordred does have a lot of damage himself. Looks like they are going to go for it. I'm not sure I hate this call. Athena, the only one on the defense, immediately dashing away, trying to buy himself some time. Naga is going to tank up this Titan a little bit. Mordred ulting the Athena, Poppin immediately pouncing on him afterward. I mean, that combo, we saw it 30 times in the game, and it worked 28 of those times, and we get to see it work a 29th. As the Titan goes down for Gunshow, bringing us to a 1-1 set.
Yeah, that's just a string of unfortunates. Like they didn't get the kill on the Wukong, but at that point it's essentially a 5v4 and they just hit the gas pedal. You hate to see it. It started really well for the Gunshow team, and Wantifloss said, "Hold up, who's the daddy? This is not happening." He said, "I gotta put the belt back on." And he's going to take it to game 3 with this interesting build. But hey, Juan is a Baron merchant. This is his pick. I wouldn't be surprised if they're banning it from him game 3 just to put him on something he's not too comfortable on. But hey, shout out Mike Typhon. You know, we love to see that guy out here MVP of the game.
Yeah, a lot of value in the inherent CC that Baron has, not to mention the way, like you said, Juan built it super zoomy. We saw it 2 times, Chalk going to ult him to try to catch him out, and he's just too fast. But also, taking a look at the damage numbers, I mean, Baron beat his own Fenrir, Baron almost beat his Cupid, Baron did beat Athena, Baron did beat Ho Yi, and then, I mean, he's got almost 10,000 on Izakor, who's on a Sunwoo.
Yeah, he's playing this really offensively based Baron support pick, and he's just not getting punished for it. This movement speed's providing a lot of survivability, and once he's ahead, he will solo your backliners with this aspect pick. So it's great to see. And as you can see, both of these solo laners, each of these games has been mid laners performing and solo laners just being one-man armies. And I'm excited to see it again for game 3. I love seeing solo laners that are confident at just getting in there, buying all of the space possible, and just being absolute menaces.
And speaking of game 3, we're going to go ahead and send ourselves to a short break here, and we will be back loading into game 3, final game of the set, so we can see how this set ends up panning out.
「
Hey guys, taking a little bit longer than expected, having a little bit of difficulties here, so we're getting to the bottom of it right now. Going to go ahead and send us back to the BRB screen. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information. Little difficulties going on for both teams, so waiting to see if we're going to get a game 3 out of this or what's going to end up happening. But we will be back for another extended break and hopefully rejoining you guys for a game 3. Welcome back. Game 3 of our Gunshow versus Foo Fighters Enkidu set, making it all the way to the final deciding game. Difficulties fixed, and we are right back in to the P's and B's. It's been a minute, but Unstrict, you probably remember game 2 still, unless you're senile, which is okay. Is there anyone besides the Baron Juan that you were talking about that you think was a crucial deciding factor, or maybe the second most crucial deciding factor in that Food Fighters victory?
Well, I'm glad you pointed out being senile because I am known for having a very bad memory. But what I did not forget was the work that Fuego Maego was putting in on the Mordred. As we see the Merlin band come through again, followed by the Suki Neath bands. Nothing surprising here. The Bacchus band for Rory again. It's pretty textbook bands, but see, there it is. Gunshow said, hey, you guys respect ban our Bacchus, we're gonna respect ban your Mordred. And then the Agni ban for Io. They're like, nah fam doesn't want it, we're not gonna give it to them. But do you see who they let through Airborne?
Yep, looking like an Ares first overall pick, and wouldn't be surprised if we see our second guy who was let through, Odin, but instead going to be the Baron One top block into the Sun Wukong. I'm not sure if that was a really big problem for them in that support role, but they do decide to take it right there with the third overall pick. Odin's still up.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of taking the Baron here over like the Odin or like the Hui Yi maybe, because as we see, they've already got their support on the other side. They've got the Ares. So unless Io was like a Baron gamer, you could have held off on the Baron pick, I believe. But I am a strong believer that this Ares god is the best god in the game. So I am absolutely shocked to see this god getting through, and they just get to pair it with Odin. Like, this Gunshow team is looking to be building a dangerous draft. Never mind. They went on her. They went on
Yep, I
her.
was I was just about to say it. We were a single pick away from having Ares the best support, Odin the best team fighting solo, and then a Ho Yi or even a Cupid there looks disgusting, but they go on her instead. So Food Fighters still get the Ho Yi, and I don't know what their fourth pick is going to be, but I mean, like you said, Ares Ares might just be, if not already is crowned the best god in the game right now. So I don't know if there was a 2-3 for Food Fighters that made me happy with that. But they end up taking the Scylla. So both teams straying away from this Cupid, going to go on her instead. And I mean, Ho Yi's been played in every game he's been through. That's just the reality of carry right now. And then a Susano for Gunshow with another pick following.
Yeah, I think Kalo played Hui 2 games and he was like, nah, I don't want to play Hui again. Give me a god that has a decent matchup, but I can show off some mechanics, you know. I just put the kids to bed, now it's time to put these kids to bed, is what he's over there thinking to his team. And we see Def the King with the Susano pick. If I'm not mistaken, Def the King has pulled out Susano quite a bit in his comp career. So I'm excited to see him go back to the pick, even though it's been nerfed. And
I
as we
love that.
see, my personal favorite non top of the meta mid laner to play Zeus. This god, damage. What does the other team not want to happen? Damage. If they're grouping up chain lightnings, it's free deicides. I love this god. It just comes down to whether Io can stay safe, and he's been having success staying safe all set. So, and then no introduction needed. The Hunbats, very boring god, but you can't say that this god does not put in work and have a ton of value.
So we see both teams immediately going straight to that team fight style draft. I mean, Zeus pairing with either Odin or Ares ult is just huge. On her, also not to be ignored on that damage pairing. And then Food Fighters get the Baron back, and they get a Humbats and a Hoyi on top of it. Is there a specific draft that you prefer? I think you're already leading Gunshow, though.
Yeah, it's Ares, it's Odin, it's Zeus. Like, I'm pretty sure those 3 gods can match a lot of 5-man comps. And like, on her is no slouch. He's not great. He's not the Hui. He's not obviously the comp band X-Ball. He doesn't have as good of a matchup into Hui that Cupid does. But we've seen Cupid, Hui both games so far, so I'm glad to see a little change up. And of course, Def the King playing Susano. Like I said, pretty sure that's one of his comfort picks, so I'm excited to see it. And Wantifloss going back to this aspect on the Baron, I'm assuming we're going to see the Gemma focus Rigo Striders that did so much work for him last game with the Juke shoes. And Pop and Nike has opted for stun bats with the aspect. I personally am not really a fan. I like the hard carry potential that having non-aspect has. But what are your thoughts with these aspect choices and these god comps?
Well, I mean, I think when you have a game like Juan did on the Baron aspect, you're running aspect regardless of who you're into at this point. You just had a really good game. Why move it around? The one thing that I'm not necessarily a fan of, like you said, was that Humbots getting the stun. I think I would like it if I saw a little bit more early damage on their team, but I'm just not seeing it. Scylla obviously has damage, but it's super scale oriented. Same with Hou-Yi. Hou-Yi, I mean, at any point a triple bounce hurts, but it's not life threatening until 1 or 2 items are online. So we're not gonna get the most value out of that. And then the only thing that I'm more surprised of than that is there are 0 Sunders on the side of this Food Fighters team.
Yeah, it's kind of a little upsetting to see, but whenever it comes down to it, you don't want to get caught lacking whenever there's an Odin on the other team. I don't think they needed the double shells. I think the one shell out of Wantifloss would have been enough since both backliners have escapes. But shells are fine whenever your mid laner is a Scylla with arguably the second best secure in all of Smite behind Vulcan. So I'm not mad at it. I think they want to play safe. They want to play for the counter engage because there's not much pressure to be had whenever you're playing against Ares and he can do whatever he wants on the map at all times. Speaking of...
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the second time we've also seen Nawfam look at the god that Io Sky played and just be like, nah, I can do it better, and then just taking it away from him. But you mentioned the secure on the Scylla. Game 1, we didn't see Scylla steal or secure any like objectives, but as we say that, Rory getting pounced on an early gank, popping there before the 2-minute mark to get the first blood. So, I mean, we talked about, you know, maybe not having the hard carry potential of being a non-aspect Humbats, but getting first blood at 2 minutes, it's looking a little snowbally.
Yeah, it's not going to matter that his 2 doesn't have as much damage if he's going to end up already being ahead. But right now he's ahead in gold, but the Susano's doing a fine job of farming and trying to stay ahead in XP. What I do like to see so far is the fact that this Ares and this On Her are getting all neutrals and left and not giving up any pressure, even though Juan's on his signature Baron pick. So that's really nice to see. And also, yeah, we didn't see any Scylla secures come through last game, really. But hey, different pilot.
As we say that, On Her going to hit the spear into the pillar, knock up the Hou-Yi. Hou-Yi going to beads the Ares chains away, able to leap out. But like you said, I mean, Gunshow's had pressure in this duo lane this entire time, mostly because of this Ares pick just having that potential. Not having beads as Hou-Yi and that enemy Ares is already level 4. I mean, I'm assuming that we're level 5 just running at this Hou-Yi clicking 4. Nothing to save him anymore.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see this next purple buff getting invaded by this Gunshow Shoguns duo lane. Because even if the Humbats comes over, I don't think they're scared of him. The On Her's got beads, the Ares is about to have ult, but as we see, they're the ones getting invaded.
Yeah, flip the script. Food Fighters coming on the invade, and now Juan's got no mana as he runs away. But, I mean, Gunshow ends up getting it, so nothing positive for the Food Fighters on the invade, but DeathX the King running away for his life right now as Sun Wu ults to chase him down through the clouds for the mobility. Scylla ult connecting, early kill for the Scylla, and Zeus on the block, his beads going down and his ult. So both mid laners using an ult, but one for safety, the other one for a kill.
Yeah, that's the shame of not being level 5 whenever you're fighting for the fire brands, because Hunbat showed up level 5, Susanoo showed up level 4, and he got punished getting triple ulted on the way out.
And then Poppin getting a red buff steal, but Odin looking like he was going to trade it until Fuego once again comes over, and Odin going to use the ult, but Poppin able to leap away. I don't know why Sunwoo left. But, I mean, it doesn't matter when Scylla rotates and does that. Now Zeus is the one-shot, but this fight has been going so long. Susanoo died, respawned, and he's all the way back up. Scylla beads going down, and now Scylla's fallen. Ares ulting, but for absolutely nothing. Scylla dead before he can get off the ground.
So you love to see Io Sky living on this Zeus, because then they get the 2 for 2, and they get the red invade, hopefully? This Wukong looking to secure it?
Oh, he did get it. Yep.
So that is a really good trade. If this Zeus dies, it ends up a lot worse. But he got out. Susanoo and Ares got the cleanup. Even if the Ares ult was a little whiffed, you got to make sure that Scylla dies there. You got to get whatever you can out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a great rotation by this Ares going to mid before the Baron and able to help, like you said, nail that Scylla down so we can get that trade, make sure Zeus gets out of there okay. Zeus not ahead in level right now, probably not in gold either, just because the Scylla did get those 2 kills, but like you said, 100%, if he doesn't live, he is definitely down. And speaking of wanting to live, you don't get to do that when Scylla and Baron ult you, and you don't have beads. Immediate turnaround kill going the way of this Scylla. And I think we're about to see what I was talking about, where it's hard to stay even when you're dead. I think Scylla's probably going to get a lead here.
Yeah, Nafam so far showing that he might be the superior Scylla pilot. He's getting active a lot earlier. Keep in mind, though, it is easier to get active on the Scylla when you're playing against Zeus and not against Agni. But huge props to Juan. He rotated about a full minute after the Ares did, and he gets a lot of value off of it with this Zeus kill. As we see Juan coming back to dual lane, he's decided that he's not done helping Lord Poseidon kind of push this lane out and build a lead yet.
With the way the lane started, what? On her beadsing in absolutely zero danger. Juan had left the fight, but now as we're speaking, Fear No Evil connecting with the Zeus under the tower, and unfortunately that's just Smite 2 towers for you. Poppin able to tank 3 shots, getting that kill and still living.
Yeah, he stepped up a little too far without his beads. Whenever you're playing a pick like this into gods like Scylla and Hunbats and Baron with hard lockdown, you have to be getting wards and you have to be playing off of your beads timer. And sadly, he just didn't have it up yet and got caught lacking. This area is holding his wave for him at least, so he's not getting super punished for it. It's looking like a very one-sided game so far. Even though gold lead is even, if we don't find a way to keep this Zeus alive, it's just going to get worse from here.
Yeah, we do have a slight lead on her, but I mean, in the duo lane in general. But outside of that, I mean, it's a lead for food fighters at this point. Yeah, jungles are even, but Humbat's probably worth quite a few more gold than this Zeus is at 0, 1, and 1. And then as we're speaking, Humbots and Susanoo going to trade some abilities, and it ends up being an Odin getting soloed in solo is the only kill that comes out of it, as everyone gets away safely in this mid fight. So the lead in solo continues. I mean, I'm not sure how much I even want to put that on Rory after being ganked so early in this game.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, as we see Baron.
Here comes some more ults and team fight. Ares ult down, Zeus ult down, Baron ult down, and the only one going to die for it is this Baron. Kind of surprised that we didn't see a little bit of a dive there into that Scylla. No mana, less than 100 health, but it looks like this Gunshow team deciding that oracles are more important. I thought they were going straight to gold.
Yeah, that's a gold rip and a half there if I'm on this Gunshow team. I guess they're not aware that nobody is in the left jungle. But yeah, this Odin has been shut down and kind of put in the dirt early, but I still don't see how he gets soloed there. He's already got a full breastplate. He was only a level down. But as you can see, this Wukong is opting for the mid Wukong build. He's going full intelligence. It's looked like he's going into a Helm of Radiance, I want to say. Which, if it is,
He's low here, but he gets the back off Rory, not realizing that he stayed. I'm sorry to cut you off. I thought he was about to get lazy backed right there, and that would have been a massive swing for Odin. But he gets out, so 2-level lead maintained.
Yep. Just enjoying the down times. This game hasn't been too crazy so far. It's been less fights, but the fights have been, or it's been the same amount of fights, but the fights have not been going on for 3 minutes each. So it's really nice. As we see, this Food Fighters team is posturing to get a pick and pull gold.
The Ho Yi ult going down. Speaking of stun bots, going to get the stun off of his 2, but doesn't really follow up into that. I mean, Scylla gets a combo, but Izakor is going to get out of here alive, and we're now 3 ults down. Okay, we made the support back, but now you're probably just at a disadvantage for this gold, but no one has rotated over here for Gunshow, so not only do they not have the advantage for gold, but Kalo's got an ult to clear wave, so he's not tower dove. But here comes DeathX the King, speaking of rotations, looking at this Baron and missing the pull on him, so it doesn't end up mattering. Solo ends up almost being a solo onto Fuego, but ends up going his way when he backs and returns. Zeus going to rotate and ult, but now he is on the chopping block. Poppin and Fuego both ulting and finishing him off. Firebrands for free.
Another solo kill from the Wukong. Now that he has Helm of Radiance, that item is very, very good. Anytime you can afford to get it, whether you're playing in the 4 physical or not, it's even worth building on mid laners. It's 65 intelligence plus another 63 physical protections. Like, the item is good. The item is very good. I usually build it whenever I'm playing immobile mid laners, as we see Scylla getting burned here for what looks like beads from the Susano. You hate to see it. That's good value.
Here comes a stampede from Ares into an ult, but I mean, Scylla beads, Baron ult down, okay, and then Mori once again on the chopping block. I'm not sure if it's being calmed, like, hey, I'm down, don't help me. I'm not even sure if Fuego is asking for the ganks, but Fuego is getting all of them, and Rory is getting no help here. Besides the Zeus rotating one time, I don't think Rory's seen a teammate all game.
Yeah, at this point, Rory is 4 levels down. Like, it's impossible to play through that lane if you're a Gunshow now. They have to find something else on the other side of the map, try to play hard through duo, but they need to find an answer somewhere, because if going over into this solo lane is just a death sentence at this point in the game. Like, you're going to go there, you're going to fight at a 4-level disadvantage, and you're going to make the Wukong even more fed. So it's looking like they need to pull this Wukong ult and get a 3 or 4 man rotation, but if not, just focus on left, focus on mid, try to get a Gold Fury soon. I'm still surprised that we haven't seen a Gold Fury pulled, as we see Pop and Nike and Wantifloss collapsing on this mid lane. They might be looking for an Ares. No, they decide.
It looks like they're looking at each other. I mean, stun going out for the Humbots, pull on DeathX the King, but I mean, he is actually going to teleport to his 3, following up with his Humbots, going to throw his ult. Naga's still in the middle of this fight. Ult's getting popped everywhere, but it's somehow going against Food Fighters, who before that fight had a massive lead. Baron down, Scylla down, Poppin backing because he's too low to fight, and it looks like Ho Yi may be losing this trade too. And down he goes on her ult, taking, okay, and some laughs as well. Mods look away, still not sure if that's illegal, but we're still just asking it to be let through. Thank you. Now speaking of the Gold Fury pull, Gunshow on it after getting 4 kills.
Yeah, that's the fight Gunshow needed. They need to stay away from the solo lane, just let Rory take his L's and try to get objectives everywhere else. See, like, this is a waste of, like, anybody's time going over here. Like, Fuego, if he plays his cards wrong here, he could die to Rory and give up his entire lead. Well, not in his entire lead, but it would be very bad for him to die here. But
yeah, I mean, he was a power shot away from death.
Yep. So close. Rory almost had him. Fuego was scaring us for a little bit. He almost made all of the hard work that Poppin's done over there kind of get negated, you know? But it looks like Fuego's going to invade blue, so what ended up almost being bad turned out really good for him. But
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like you said, where I'm not sure if Fuego should have taken that risk. Being up 4 levels already, was it really worth tower diving into an Odin ult for a tier 1?
yeah, exactly. I would love to see this Food Fighters team either get this mid T1 or go Pyro here. They have a lot of pressure on the map. They did lose the last fight that they took as a 4v4 as Hunbat's pulls Susano beat.
Susano pre-beads and going to get the Fear No even casted onto him because of it. Humbat's going to bead the Cyclone, but he is still alive, managing to get away from the Humbats 3 and 2. So both ults, both beads, neither gets a kill as both the junglers start backing up. The difference is Humbats' team is in a position to pull this Pyro if they want to, but they're just walking away again.
Yeah, this Susano got out by the skin of his teeth, man. Like he had a core beads. It was really good for the 2, but then he ate the ult. But he barely got his cooldowns off and Wind Sprite to save the day, getting him out.
Jesus, look at that Baron damage. Odin going to ult, Baron going to ult, even popped a shell, and Rory's just standing still, not fighting back and accepting his fate. I think Baron just did more damage that fight than Odin did.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Like, Rory is playing a safe god, but there's nothing safe whenever you're just constantly getting two-manned in your lane, and I'm not sure if it's getting to him or if he just knew he was dead, so he stood there to try to get his timer to start sooner or what, but... And we have a pause.
Well, maybe
Yeah,
it's a DC from Rory. But while we wait out this pause, is there any points that you would like to make about something that food fighters could potentially swap around to maintain the lead, or that you want Gunshow to start doing to expand? I mean, because after that last fight, they're even right now in gold.
yes. I would love to see this Wukong, now that he's 4 or 5 levels up, get out of solo lane, rotate, make these objectives way easier to pull, because last time they had a 4v4, the food fighters lost the fight, and it just was really rough for them. So now that this Wukong has the lead that they've been working to get him on, he needs to start uh, transitioning that into leads for the rest of the team by taking objectives and farm off of the map.
Yeah, and production telling us that Rory hasn't actually left the lobby, so if it's a DC, potentially a pretty big one considering that they are still in the lobby. But we will be right back after all of these technical difficulties take care of themselves, and we will see you guys when the game is resumed.
to me. So meet me halfway and make your way to the center stage. I'll do the same. I wanna see you dance. Take my hand and show me what you got for me. 'Cause it's my world. Everyone else in it is empty. So we keep it coming. No, we don't stop. No, we'll never leave. Want it. Always making no mistakes. Company stay running. Taking care of things we never dreamed. We're honest.
Welcome back into Game 3. Technical difficulties once again being sorted out as we load back in. And it's still a very close game gold-wise, but both sides having some players that are getting big on her, pretty big. Zeus getting some kills, but Scylla trying their best to keep up with them. And then Humbots and Sunwoo, I mean, don't look at the slash lines, but Sunwoo a little bit ahead.
Yeah, the gold lead, actually that's an understatement. All of the gold lead that Food Fighters has right now is through this solo lane, which also means that the rest of these lanes are actually in favor of Gunshow right now. As we see, Food Fighters said, we're not going to waste any time and we're going to get this pyro ripped.
Yeah, a little bit early on the Scylla ult secure there, but let's say it's for burn. Zeus popping his beads and ult as Poppin throws down the Fear No Evil. So two massive resources for Zeus' safety gone, and Odin just trying to walk, but Sun Wukong harassing him the whole way. Scylla root connecting through the wave. Odin going to have to ult to get himself some space, but even now he's being chased down below the tier 2 by the Sunwoo, who pops his ult to chase him further. But now Sunwoo is all the way back into the Phoenix right now. We talked about him overextending into tier 1. Overextending down to a Phoenix with the tier 2 still alive at 17 minutes is a little bold.
Yeah, going through the T2 was kind of questionable, and then I think he got Ares ulted into Phoenix, and from there it was just nothing he could do.
All right, Ares ult makes that look a lot better. I didn't notice the Ares ult, so I was like, Jesus, man, where are you going? But yeah, that's the reality.
That's a mistake you hate to see, especially whenever you have such a clear lead and you're the largest player on the map and you just die for pretty much a pointless reason whenever you could be on Gold Fury with your team. We see Odin going right. He doesn't care about this Gold Fury. He just wants to try and get farm. He's level 13 right now, 18 minutes in. If he walks at the Scylla and this Hui, he just insta-dies. So I actually don't mind him splitting the map here, as both of these teams are posturing gold, but Wukong also opting to go right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it for Food Fighters. If Wukong's not here, yeah, he just gave up a big shutdown, and that's all well and good. He's still 4 levels up, or at least he's a higher level than Zeus and on her right now. So him not being there is really, really bad for them. And I'm pretty sure that's what contributed to Food Fighters, and then in turn Gunshow just backing all the way up, trying to buy some extra time for Odin to farm, while also, honoring the fact that, like you said, if we're close in gold and my Sunwoo has a 5-level lead, that means the rest of us are probably down.
Yeah, like, this is where I would really like to see Food Fighters getting active on the map pulling objectives, because if they're not pulling any objectives, this Gunshow team is completely content, because that's just... they're getting an Odin that just gets to keep farming, and at some point, even if Odin's level 17 and Wukong's level 20, Odin has a big cage that has a ton of utility for this team. It will burn shells, or it'll burn escapes, and then this jungler should get to eat on this Susanoo pick. But it all starts with this Wukong getting out of solo lane and getting over.
And then Humbots and Susanoo finding each other in the jungle. Once again, Susanoo popping the beads on the stun, and Humbots gets to save the ult and the relic. So a beads down on Susanoo, and his laning opponent, or his jungle opponent's a Humbots. But Ares ult not used, but the cage is. Baron ult going down. He was expecting the Ares ult, so went for the CC immunity. Not good enough. Ends up being picked. Zeus ult also down. So now the entire Gunshow team has no ult as they go to this Gold Fury. Onher is zoning two people at the same time, including Sunwoo, but eventually makes his way back to this Gold Fury. Food Fighters kind of on their way in. Humbots is on the way behind them, but Zeus does see them. Odin is just trying to stand in front of Scylla, but based off the help, we can see that's not going well. Humbots leaps in, going to get the beads off of the Onher and the Zeus. Sunwoo trying to chase it down to finish the Zeus, but it's looking like he may live, going up into the clouds. Misses again on the one, but ends up finding the Zeus, who pops some ult. Susano dies in the back, and this fight continues, but Kalo is big. Sunwoo was starting to go down, but Scylla comes around on the wraparound, finishes him off with the ult, and now the combo into Izakor, and it looks like Fuego, we were talking about it, that massive lead, they just can't punish him, even if he's in the wrong spot. Odin leaps in, trying to get a massive shutdown to help his lane, but it's just not going to be enough damage at level 14. Ult goes down, and a potential Gold Fury ends in a deicide for this Food Fighters team, who look like they're immediately heading back to get the Gold Fury for themselves.
Just hate to see it. This Wukong's in deep, 1v2ing the Ares and the Onher, but you wouldn't even realize it because of his +1s. He's 3v2ing them. He had 2 clones body blocking Onher autos, just allowing him to do whatever he wants, and that is just a feels bad moment if you are this Onher. But, I mean, good job from Izakor on this area. He's trying to help his Onher out, and it is just unfortunate. Odin had a good drop on the Onher also, but being level 14, he just couldn't secure the kill. So it was kind of a little bit of funneling in and dying. But nonetheless, it's a deicide for Food Fighters, and that's exactly what we've been waiting for. This Wukong to rotate, get active, and make these team fights easier as Food Fighters go straight to a pyro pool.
Humbot's having to bead so he can get over the wall. Ho Yi ult being used. Susano using his beads to get out of the Baron ult. And, I mean, Onher is just piecing up Baron. Juan going down. Sunwoo tries to dive once again. 1v4, gets slaughtered for it. So, I mean, what was a deicide and a Gold Fury now is Food Fighters on the back foot. A classic overstay for this set. And it's a, not deicide, but I mean, it's a massive kill going the way of Food Fighters once again with the Sunwoo going to the gray screen. Poppin is sitting in the jungle, but it looks like Gunshow not going to pull the pyro. I don't think they know he's there, but choosing to play through this mid lane instead right now into this aggression.
Yeah, those are good picks for Gunshow to get. Food Fighters played the pyro pool a little premature. We see this on her and left, so this fight isn't terrible for Food Fighters here.
Yeah, and it continues. Speaking of, Odin Cage going down as this Humbots tries to get another pick onto them. Scylla ult also for some added damage. Ares going to ult, get the Scylla beads. I mean, I don't know if there's... Well, I lied. There's 2 pairs of beads still up. That was a gross over-exaggeration. I was about to say, I don't know if there's a pair of beads up in this game after that fight. Everyone popping their beads there that was there. And everyone also popping ult. But, I mean, outside of the 2 big kills for for Gunshow, not a whole lot happened. Pyro's still up. Everyone is back in respawn now. And then everyone just kind of goes back to their lane in their jungle to farm it up.
Yeah, I'd like to see this pyro pulled back up, but right now, I actually think Gunshow is in the driver's seat as long as this Wukong does not do his Wukong things. If Food Fighter keeps trying to take fights without this Wukong, or not playing through this Wukong and helping him do what he needs to do, it's just going to get rough for Food Fighters from here, because this Wukong is their saving grace. He's level 20. The Onher also just hit level 20 from split pushing during that fight. Like, this Wukong is not as large as he used to be, and I hope Food Fighters is realizing that.
Ares popping the Stampede there to get away from the poke, but all the abilities were down, and he only took 1/5 of his health, so not sure if it was worth it. But speaking of things that are probably not worth it, ulting on to this Odin, who is going to throw his cage to buy himself some separation. Susano using his ult to get him a little space as well. But now Sunwoo Tiger stancing into this Ares, who does not have Stampede, but he is walking forward looking for a big ult. Zeus going to ult, Baron going to ult, and it is going to pull Nafam on the Scylla into the Zeus ult. Ends up being a kill onto the Scylla, but now Sunwoo is just throwing everything at this Zeus, but he is going to get the kill, and Ares is on the block for the next one. And Sunwoo gets out again on an overextension that just keeps going his way. On her is going to find him, though. He didn't know he was there. And he connects with probably the last auto he could have thrown at him and ends up finishing the kill. I agree with you, though. Sunwoo has to be here. He's level 20. These fights just go better when he's here. But vice versa, Kalo has to be there to help with this Sunwoo. Because, I mean, we just saw it. Zeus can't kill him himself, and Ares can't peel him.
Yeah, it's a late rotation from the on her, but better late than never. He comes in, he gets the kill on the Wukong. It's just at this point, there's no pyro for them to pull or anything. Had he been here sooner, that's probably a full-on fire giant pull off of that fight, because they pretty handedly won the fight once he rotated and killed the Wukong. But I feel like not having your level 20 ADC there is a little bit of a drawback for the fight. But
Yeah,
they're getting oracles. It's Ares trying to solo them. That's not happening.
Made it a little bit easier for Food Fighter, but I agree. If Kalo's there and they manage to save the Zeus and all of that because Kalo is there, I would have loved a fire giant. But like you said, better late than never. We do get the Sunwoo trade for our Zeus, and I think Odin lived that entire fight, if I'm not mistaken. So getting some crucial assists onto him as well as Gunshow pushes forward, takes this mid-tier 1, and now turns their attention back to this Pyromancer.
Yeah, this is a good pyro pool here. This game's been back and forth. You like to see neither team giving up. Scylla coming in trying to steal with ult, but just a little bit too late. This should be a full disengage. I don't see any more fighting happening here. Unless this Hunbats finds this Odin.
Yeah, going to get the stun on him, going to take a little bit of his health, and going to get Susanoo's ult once again for free. I think that might be like the 10th ult that Susanoo has thrown to try to get this Odin out of trouble. But now Odin walks back forward, throws the cage, Ares ulting, Baron going to ult as well. Ares is hit by it. It is on the chopping block, but Poppin dies in the back trying to dive as this Hun bots, and now on her has to pop his beads to save his own life. I mean, Sunwoo does go in, does finish the kill, and somehow gets out again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the on her. He was winning the fight with the Wukong, trying to peel himself, but sadly his team just got separated from him by doing different pathing. They both went under the Scorpion, and while the rest of Food Fighters was able to just walk straight over to him, and you saw Scylla's damage instantly. He had the BH jump away, and at that point, you're just gonna die to the poke stick, which is another reason Wukong is really deadly, because anytime you think you're out, you're just not really out. But they're pulling Gold Fury without their ADC here? No, their ADC is here.
Gunshow is walking up to it. Odin in the lead, Zeus right behind him. I'm not sure which one of the two is more tanky right now, but Odin is now walking in by himself. Scylla ult going to, never mind, Scylla ult almost secured it. Sunwoo going to get it on his 1. So it ends up being a clean objective pull and gather for this Food Fighters team. Gunshow going to take the Nagas on the wraparound. Very low health at this point in the game still. Not being dropped very often. And now every objective is down besides this Fire Giant. And I'm not sure if you noticed it too, but Poppin on the Humbots was diving the Zeus at like their back camps on this solo mid side. So it looks like the entire front line of Gunshow went and collapsed him and just kind of left this on her on his own.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, because they must not have calmed it to him, or just leaving him on an island like that just never feels good, especially when he was level 20. They need him to do objectives. Like, it's okay if the Zeus dies, because they can still pull the objective, but having the on her die is really rough for them anytime that
this Odin once again just too far forward, having to pop his own ult to buy himself some time. Scylla ult going to hit him, somersault through the clouds, going to connect as well. Zeus ult for more disengage, trying to buy his Sonar laner some time, Ho Yi going to ult as well, but popping Nike on the Humbots, the first to fall. Fuego quickly following him. The Zeus damage finally getting online and turning some of these team fights. And now Juan all alone as the rest of his team backs up. But as I say that, Nafam walks back forward, hits a polyauto and a root on Jesus, just out of range for the crush. Not going to get a kill. I'm not sure if it connected, if he killed him anyway. Still over half health, but Scylla is hovering, and Susano really needs to not face check around corners into him, quickly having to pop his beads after learning that lesson. And this Ares is low. I mean, Fire Giant still at 4K, but now the Odin standing in front of the Scylla going to buy the extra little bit of space that Gunshow needs to secure this Fire Giant.
Yeah, that fight is just that's Zeus things. They're chasing the Odin blindly. Odin's really hard to catch and kill, even if he is behind. He's 0-8, but each of these kills that they've gotten on him lately, they have had to work for it. And he just funnels them into a Zeus ult with a chain lightning, and everybody just gets deleted off the face of the earth as the Scylla comes up, ults, and secures the Pyromancer away from this Gunshow team.
Talked about Food Fighters not having any Sunders to secure, and you mentioned, yeah, well, we've got Scylla finally at the 31-minute mark. Scylla stealing, going to take place, taking the Pyro. Obviously wish it had been the fire instead, but he was zoned by 3 separate people while that fire was being pulled, so can't really blame him. Does finally get to an objective on time and steal away the Pyro. Not the biggest deal if you're Gunshow, but kind of annoying that you just borderline got a deicide, you got fire, you finally got a couple thousand lead, and now it's right back to the 2,000, if not less. But Baron going to ult the Susano. Susano being caught out. Scylla damage barely not going to be enough as the Zeus gets some poke in return, and Scylla turning to run instead of finishing the kill.
Yeah, it's a lot of chase down, a lot of fighting. I would really like to see this Gunshow team push here, take some towers off the map. They do have fire. They do have Ares. We're forgetting about this Ares. Even if he's not getting high value ults, this god is essentially unkillable. His 2 is insane with the amount of HP 5 that it gives.
And walking forward, like you said, even without the big ult, but going to walk forward and hit 3 with it. Only gets to pull 1, however. Odin ult immediately to entrap both him and the Scylla. Not having that shell up ends up being the reason they fall. Ho Yi ulting, trying to get them a little bit of time, but the extra damage somehow ends up killing Odin thanks to the tower. But I mean, we've got a split pushing Sunwoo right now, and we just got done talking about how this Food Fighters team really needs him there.
Yeah, every fight that they take without this Wukong there, they lose. Every fight that they take with this Wukong here is usually a 50-50 on whether they win or lose it. So him split pushing is like fine, they get the tower down, but it's not worth giving up mid T2 plus Gold Fury and just not being there to help your team after Poppin' Nike puts so much attention into giving you a lead.
Yeah, and Gunshow going to secure this gold. Poppin looked at the Zeus temporarily. Zeus threw an ult at him and he lost half his health, so he got out of dodge. Don't really blame him there. I think the biggest thing for me out of that was, if we're not calling our Sunwoo to come back and join us on our fight, why are we losing 2 people at a tier 2 tower at 33 minutes to an enemy team that has Fire Giant? Just back up. Like, if we're truly trying to trade this tier 2 on this split push, just don't die. Because then when we have the 4 members, we can still ask Sunwoo, hey, you know, like, they're looking at gold, we should come over here, and he can TP, he can back, he can do all these different things. But when you lose 2 people at 33 minutes, I mean, it's just a guaranteed objective borderline for this enemy team.
Yeah, you're completely right. It's not good for him to not be there, but it's also not good for them to take the fight. As a jump from the Odin forces Wukong ult out, you hate to see that.
Yeah, thought he was going to probably get double ulted there. Ares and Odin just immediately in his face. And we see this entire Food Fighters team gathered on this right side of the map. Poppin is on the side looking for a split, but he's just not in the right place at the right time. Still gets a 4-man Fear No Evil, gets the Sunwoo in the On Her beads. But now, once again, we're talking about being down players at 34 minutes. Gunshow is W keying into this tier 2 tower. And I'm not sure if we want to be here to defend it, but Food Fighters are standing behind it, looking like they're trying to do something about it. Ares going to ult and get the Scylla. The Scylla going to ult in return. Baron ult as well, pulling in Odin, but I'm not sure if you want to pull him in. Gets the Tablet of Purification popped, but a Zeus ult goes down, and in the jungle, Fuego trying to dive, trying to fight, but there's just too many people there. And then even with all these people here, we're still losing Scylla on the back end to the Zeus and Ares.
Yeah, that fight was just rough. Papa Nike was looking for an angle from teleporter, but it looks like red team maybe had vision. No. Red team did have vision of the teleporter, so it was just unfortunate that the Ares and the entire Gunshow team got the turn on him as they're looking to end this game.
Yeah, Food Fighters walking up to try to defend this Titan, but that's a whole lot of damage by the Zeus, but they're all pretty low. A stun from Humbats comes in, but it looks like they're going to just speedrun the Titan, and the game 3 goes to Gunshow, who, I mean, we started this game, and it looked like it was going to be a landslide for Food Fighters.
Yeah, there were just some mistakes made. It's really, really unfortunate that this Sun Wukong is just refusing to leave lane and group up with all the pressure and the lead that he has. And like, even though the Odin was behind, the Odin had a lot more impact this game than the Wukong did, I feel like, past the 15-minute mark, because these Odin cages are setting up a lot of work for them. And not to mention, this Food Fighters team is dumping a lot into trying to kill this Odin fight after fight, and he's just getting away. Like, it's just painful, because whenever you play through somebody to give them a lead, you want them to get really active with the lead and make it worth it, and it just wasn't Food Fighters' day, I guess.
No, I agree with you. I mean, we saw Sunwoo over there, level 18 to Odin's 13, and we're over there competing over lane pressure. When Gunshow is just at the Gold Fury fighting your team, and we talked about it in the break, but it got to a point, man, where Odin is just not worth killing for anyone but Juan. Right before we had that DC by Rory there, but it's not worth gold wise and XP wise to be ganking him at this point. So the only reason you'd think to do it is for objectives. But as we said a couple times, they get a pick, they run away. There was never any objectives pulled. It looked like they were just punishing Odin because they were Odin, but you let the game go too long. Someone who's not there in the fight, someone who's your lead. That has to be the guy that's there in an even game. If I've got a 5-level lead and this game's even, that means my team is down. I need to be there to help them. And he was there a couple times and the fights went their way, but he was just not there one too many times and they end up losing the game off of it.
Yeah, and him not being there lets this Zeus character free cast, and you see what happens whenever a Zeus gets a free cast. 45,000 damage, 11, 5, and 6. If Wukong and Hunbats are coordinating, they're grouping, they're team fighting, this Zeus shouldn't be getting away alive. He's Zeus. He's got an Ares support, and we all know Ares does not have the best peel. But regardless, that's a 3-game set. That is a 3-game banger. There were a few technical difficulties along the way, but nonetheless, it was an entertaining set. Props to both teams for just duking it out and just running and gunning.
Yeah, another banger coming to us from Enkidu. Shout out to both teams playing a late one on Monday, rescheduled. Probably not specifically so we could cast it, but obviously a really good side effect is that we got to cast it so everyone that was watching is able to either, see it or people who can VOD review it, because that was obviously worth the price of admission. But I'm Airborne once again, joined on by Unstrick and Asinus, and that does it for us tonight. Be sure to tune in for this weekend stream, if not an earlier one, if we can get another reschedule for another banger set here in Babylon. All right, hope it.
You can depend on me. In the morning, open up my eyes and I cry. I want you there.